We never know what to say.
You're the host, man.
We never know what to say at the beginning. We're always just like, yep. All right, welcome back to another wonderful week with the Bonsai Movie Crew. Well, I don't really have I don't have any movie news this week.
I have something that's movie related.
Whoa, bro. Way to interrupt. Fuck, dude, you saw I was in the middle of something, bro.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'm just fucking with you.
I don't know where to go from there. I'm sorry.
And you're like, fuck.
How dare you?
Well, I forgot what I was going to do now. What were you going to say?
There was a guy who played Jason Voorhees died.
Which one?
I don't know.
Jeremiah
He's like 97.
told me about this. I don't
like
remember.
97 or something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think he was like the guy.
97?
Yeah, I think
Lord.
it was a stunt double for the guy who played Jason. But yeah, he passed away. I don't know.
I don't remember either. I was half listening. I'm not a very big fan of Jason.
Neither am I, so.
The only reason I even stayed is because I saw it on my news feed and then you guys with the movie things.
I mean, I was listening. I'm just not a very big fan of Jason, so it doesn't stick.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would have been, too.
Because I seen the picture and I was like, that guy's not the one who plays Jason.
Oh, there's been a few of them.
Kane Hodder's probably like
he's the most famous one.
That's the one I like. Yeah, and he looks pretty healthy for what I've seen.
There are a few movie trailers out, or two movie trailers in particular that I want to talk about this week. One of them being Emancipation with Will Smith, which I find it's going to be on Apple TV, I guess. But it's about a slave who I think escapes during the war, and
I haven't heard anything about this.
They even make a comment about like just follow Lincoln's cannons or whatever, the sound of Lincoln's cannons or whatever. But it don't look bad. It looks good. I don't know if it's going to be a series or I think it's a movie. I don't know. I didn't really pay that much attention to it, but it's good to see that like Will Smith is still getting work.
Yeah.
Because even after bitch slapping Chris Rock, I was kind of pissed off about. But
nah, that was all his wife. He needs to divorce that bitch.
That's where
divorce. She's actually told him like she has no remorse for cheating on him.
No, of course not. She's a cunt, dude.
Absolutely.
And I say that word very loosely, so fuck you.
No, you mean every bit of that word, and I agree with you 110%. And I'm a woman.
I can't fucking stand that bitch.
She is a cunt with a capital C.
I can't stand that bitch. Her face irritates me. Like the way she looks at people.
You know, she used to, I used to like her back when I watched Demon Knight. I thought she was cool as shit.
Demon Knight, yeah.
And then you get to know her, and you're like, fuck that bitch.
Yeah.
She's like even told Will Smith that she didn't want to marry him and stuff.
Yeah.
He needs to divorce her. He'd be a lot.
Every chance she gets, she demeans that man. And
yes, she does. And he's
honestly, all
her.
he is just a fucking devoted husband.
He's way too good for her. He's such a good person.
Yeah, he is a really good dude, though.
I have heard.
Well, for the most part, he's
okay. I'm gonna put it like this.
I think he's a little narcissistic.
He's a good person, but like you can only go so far with that because if you're gonna continue to stick with somebody like that and continue to get treated that way and continue, like I can only feel so bad for you.
I can only feel bad for you for so long, man.
Yeah, like
you need to step up and do something.
Roll on, homeboy.
But it's good to see that he's still. I don't know if he's still getting work or if this was made before that whole thing, that whole debacle.
I don't think so because a lot of those contracts got. Like null and void.
I know some of his contracts flew out the window after that, but dude, I don't care, man. I don't even think Chris Rock cared that much. I mean, he cared a little bit, but
my friend said that he actually seen a scene of the slap, and then he actually said that he thought it was staged because he seen somebody else talking about a movie where it was the same exact thing.
No, it was real.
It was real.
It was real because Chris Rock even went backstage and was like, "Can you believe that just fucking happened?" He was so pissed off that he didn't even come back.
I saw
he was
so
supposed
much,
to come back out, but he ended up leaving. He ended up leaving the fucking awards ceremony.
I saw so much.
Yeah,
footage and so much behind the scenes, so much like there's no way that was staged, and like the reactions you saw from so
even
many
he was in shock.
People.
He's like Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me.
The reactions you saw out of not just Chris Rock and like I mean just
Chris Rock can't act that good.
No,
he can't act that good.
Well, he's only saying that because he's seen a video where they showed the thing and it looked like the exact same scene from a movie. But anyways,
I don't think so.
I don't think it was staged either.
We need to get you a fidget spinner or something.
I didn't think about that when I bought those. Yeah, I really didn't think about that. Yeah, I don't think it was staged because the reactions where you could tell were genuine.
Yeah, I mean that was 100% not staged.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I felt bad for Chris Rock at first, and I mean I still do. He was embarrassed in front of.
At first, I thought it
people.
was a joke. Like when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, huh."
But you could tell
no,
Chris Rock
not,
was not like on board with it. You know what I mean?
Well, you could even tell because at the beginning
He was even laughing at the joke though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was laughing at the joke.
He-
Probably
he-
till he
if,
turned
you
around.
if you watch it, you see Will Smith laughing, and then it's like he looks at his wife and he's like, "Oh no, no, we're not laughing."
They didn't even
Like,
show
we're
that.
not-
It showed him laughing, and the next, he's walking up on stage, big
Yeah.
smacks him. And what it was is, he turned around and looked at his wife's face and was like, "Oh, okay, okay."
Yeah.
You know
like,
what I mean?
Oh, I gotta do something
Yeah,
now. Okay.
all right.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
the
it's because
fuck?
it's because she wants to act like that whole alopecia thing that she's got is a big debilitating.
Oh, but the best thing
disease.
about it was that after he slapped him, she turns around and acts like it's no big deal. Like his
Yeah.
joke was no big deal and tries to make Will look like the asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
She's
what she
such
did
a
after the
bitch.
flesh.
Yeah, I
Like,
can't
she
fucking
even
stand her,
Yeah,
dude.
she tried to act like
She's always
it was-
trying to record Will Smith, and he's like, "I'm just not in the mood for this."
Yeah,
I know.
Like, just like, dude, what are you
I've
doing?
seen it.
God, leave her ass.
And she's always trying to put their fucking information out in the open. Like he's like, I don't want to.
I
You know
seen
what I
a
mean?
video where she's taping him, and he's like, "Stop it!"
Yeah, I know. That's
Yeah.
the one I was talking
Yeah.
about.
Uh,
But anyway, moving on. That's old news. I guess
That's a whole tangent there.
Yeah.
I guess.
Will Smith needs to leave that bitch. That's all
Leave
we have to
her.
say. There's a new trailer out for Creed 3, for the third Creed movie, the boxing movie.
I
made a
barely
second
saw.
yeah,
I didn't even watch.
They're good
it. I've
movies,
never
man.
watched
I've
them.
barely seen Rocky.
I'm not a big fan of Rocky. I just don't.
Yeah.
I love the Rocky movies.
No problem with no problem with Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
I'm just
no,
not
no.
a big fan of the Rocky movies.
I'm not a fan. I watched the first one. It was okay.
I've watched the past two Creed movies, and they're both really good. And this one looks even better because it's got
Is it Michael B. Jordan?
Michael. Yeah, he's in all three of them, and he's directing this one.
Oh, is he?
So
He's
that'll
a pretty
be
good actor. I like him.
I really like Michael B. Jordan. And it's also got what's his face who plays Kane from the Marvel movies. God damn it, he was in Lovecraft Country. I can't remember his name. The lead character. I can't remember his
never
fucking
watched
name.
Lovecraft Country.
But he's in it too, and I love him as an actor. He's such a good actor.
I almost
that
feel like
dude
I need
is.
a computer over here just to like.
I know, and I would look it up because we have a computer right in front of us, but I don't feel like it.
Well, I can.
I'm not really that worried about it, Karen.
Okay.
And then there's also a trailer out for a movie or a series coming out on Prime called The English.
I think I heard about that
It's
one.
got Emily Blunt in it. It's
Yeah.
a Western show.
Yeah.
And it honestly looks really, really good. So
I'm not really into westerns, but that one did.
that one does look good. It looks like it's got some good action in it. And I like Emily Blunt, like Emily Blunt. Like I think ever since what was the name of that movie? Edge of Tomorrow or whatever with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I fell in love with that woman. I was like,
Yeah.
you are just like her in that whole action thing, and I'm like, you are fucking sexy. Like,
that's why I kind of like Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
Because
I don't care
of the
much for
action.
her.
It's
I don't
the
care much for
action
her.
thing. I just-
But like
I
Emily
really
Blunt,
like
dude, she's
Fifth
like,
Element.
Fifth Element is a big one,
and then she
all
married
the
nerdy
Resident
ass fucking John Krasinski, and I'm like, all right, you just
Yeah,
gain,
you're definitely-
you gain more cool points in life with me. You know what I mean? Like you married this dude. I was
Except
like,
he's a lot less nerdy now.
yeah, no, but like
Like-
back whenever he was on The Office, he was,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But
Well, no, not necessarily because Jim was cool.
that is true. Jim was cool. That is, yeah.
So I don't know.
But I will be checking out this show because I like westerns, and it drops November 11th on Prime. So if you're interested, check her out. All right, let's go ahead and move on to see what everybody's been watching. So what you guys been watching? You guys want me to start? Or you want to go first?
You can just skip me altogether. I ain't watched a damn
You
thing
haven't
this week.
watched anything this
Uh-uh.
week?
Oh, I watch stuff.
What'd you watch?
Well, I started watching The Glade a couple
Nobody
days
cares. I'm just kidding.
That's
Fucking with you.
terrible.
I'm just fucking with you.
I started watching The Glades a couple
The
days
Glades?
ago. It's
I've heard of this.
Guy who he lived in Chicago as like a detective, but something happened to his boss and he ended up moving to Florida, and he's a homicide detective there.
Okay.
But then I also watched on Netflix. You guys are going to get a kick out of this because I made a joke about it last week, but I end up watching a joke called Moon Landing, the world's greatest hoax.
It's funny.
And let's just get I've never really cared too much if it is a hoax. I don't care. But it did answer the one question I've always had, because I've always kind of wondered maybe it's not, because there's a radiation belt. And they basically explained how they got around the radiation belt. I didn't know it was shaped like a donut. There's a spot where there's...
Oh, I got you. Okay.
The radiation belt, they sent them through in like an hour to where they didn't get like a whole bunch of radiation. So that explained my thing of it. I don't really care if it is, but I like watching movies that talk about it, because these people are just so enthusiastic about it.
I like to watch both sides.
Yeah, that's
just to see, like, you know, because there's like, you know, you watch both sides, right? And you're watching like the conspiracy theorists, and you're like, ooh, oh, that's a good point.
That's a good point.
Oh, and then you watch,
the other one,
the debunk,
and they just debunk everything.
Yeah,
that you
just
watched.
oh.
You're like, oh,
okay.
Oh, shit,
and then
okay.
you watch another one about the same thing, and you're like, well,
See,
what are you going to do about that?
This is why I watch one thing, and then I stick with it, and I don't get too deep with it. I'm like, all right, it was all a fucking hoax the whole time.
I like to go back and forth, because I really like to mind fuck myself.
I like to mind fuck myself.
Like, I always had the question about the radiation belt, but the whole, if we did go to the moon, I don't care. If we didn't go to the moon, I don't care, because really, it doesn't affect me. It's not like I'm ordering stuff from the moon.
It's not like you're like, hey, man, fuck.
It's not like I
the delivery fees from the moon.
It's not like I got a safe in my room full of moon rocks.
Right. You're sitting back like, man,
I paid all that money out for those moon rocks, and they're not even really from the moon.
I'd really like to get my hands on one of them florpuses, but they're only on the moon, and that delivery fee is like, it's like $4,000 delivery fee.
So I'm not too worried about it. If like they came out and said, "Oh yeah, it was all a hoax. We didn't make it to the moon," I'd be like,
who gives a shit? Try again tomorrow.
Good.
Try again.
Good. A planet we don't ruin.
So does that mean we can get rid of that Neil Armstrong museum?
Now there's a good point though. There's no litter on the moon.
Except for all the litter we left.
So that means we've never fucking been there.
Actually, the rovers and stuff. China has sent pictures back of where our rovers are and stuff.
Nah, some aliens humping the shit out of that thing now.
But anyways, it was one of those movies that had like the one guy who, this.
But how do you know those pictures are real?
And then it had the other guy who would be like, well, this and this and this, and there was a lot of stuff I've seen before, and it explained why the flag was waving, stuff like that. It's because there was wires, and the flag was on a post to hold it, and what it's moving is because when they were screwing it into the ground, the flag moved because they were moving the thing that it was on.
Because there's no gravity.
So there was like there's no window to move. But anyways, yeah. So I watched that, and I got a kick out of it because I like watching people explain it away and stuff.
One question,
though. Fuck, here we go.
Just a question. So there's like light gravity on the moon, right? So if they're twisting, it wouldn't be waving. It would just kind of be going.
It would be waving.
But like not like this, which was what it was doing.
They had to twist the thing into the ground. They explain it on the thing.
Okay.
How do you know one of them just didn't pick up the flag like, here you go? Like, just pick it up slightly so that it was,
actually read a thing where not too long ago, Buzz Aldrin came out and said that the pictures on the moon were staged. And he actually came out and he said the moon landing was staged. And everybody was like...
But it was staged on the moon.
And he was like, no, what I mean is that they were all trained to take the pictures and have all that
stuff. It was staged for the moon, to be done on the moon.
Yeah. But, and then I watched a movie called Grim Cuddy.
I saw that on Hulu, and I didn't watch it.
I watched it because I read the thing, and I was like, interesting, and the creature looked kind of cool.
That's what I thought.
So how was it? I'm interested.
It was a movie.
Oh. It was a movie.
That's
so like a 4 or 5. You say? Would you watch it again?
Yeah, I'd watch it again. Oh, okay. It had some pretty interesting parts.
Well, if he's saying he'd watch it again, I'll really like it.
Fuck, I was to say we might love it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it.
With I am usually if I say the movie's no good or it's just a movie, you guys should probably watch it again because you know how I.
This is Tarantino fucking great movie.
And then I watched Jim Varney. I looked through a whole thing of his movies.
Oh, yeah.
And I found one called Dr. Otto and the Riddle of the Gloom Beam.
That sounds amazing.
I cannot find it anywhere.
Oh.
No, listen, I can't find the DVD. I found the DVD somewhere for $75.
Yeah, you run into that a lot.
The VHS I found somewhere, which I would have to, in order to get that, I would have to get a VHS player.
Right.
I have one.
But I found it on the free movie channel Tubi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I watched it there.
It seems like Tubi's got a lot.
Tubi's got a lot of stuff. Yeah.
And it is a great movie. Okay,
Is it?
Jim Varney plays this scientist who has a hand growing out of his head.
That sounds awesome. I'm in already.
I'm intrigued, man. I might be interested in this.
It's a B movie, and it's a great B movie. It's awesome. I love.
I'm in.
Like.
I'm all the way in.
And he turns into Ernest at the end as a little part, but it is great. It's like this guy, he just wants to take over the world, and they even show like this hero who's a total moron. And it's not even really him. It's like this other guy is the hero, but his friend who's the sidekick is more of a hero than he is, and he just talks her down the whole time. It's a good movie. It's funny because Jim Varney does all those things where he does the different people in them.
Oh, that's great.
Oh.
That's great.
And it's a great movie. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. There was a couple parts where I was like, I was getting
like
kind of
cringe.
tired. Yeah, but there was also a lot of parts where I was like, that's great. Like
That's
it was
awesome.
it was a good movie. There were parts that it just and you can tell that one was more geared a little bit more toward adults. Like there were girls that were like his sidekicks, and they were a little less skimpy.
Yeah,
but nothing was real big show. It was like bikini tops. And
sure.
stuff. But it was a good movie. I would watch it. I would suggest to watch it again.
Okay.
And stuff. Anything with Jim Varney is usually pretty good.
Yeah, he's a
That's
good
what I
actor.
think.
He was
a good actor.
He was a good actor.
He was actually one of those because he did all those Ernest movies, and his last movie was his last movie was a role that he's been waiting for. He said his whole life because he never got to play serious roles. So the last movie he was in, I believe, was with Billy Bob Thornton and another big name actress, and he was in the movie, and he got to play more of a serious role, and I think that really kind of tickled that sort of itch that he's had. Mm-hmm. And because I heard a lot about when before he passed that was his last role, and he was real happy to have done it because one of the things that he always wanted to do and never got his hands on was a more serious role. Because he was a very good actor and he never got to expand his wings like that, you know.
I was very surprised to hear that he died from lung cancer.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know that he smoked, and then come to find out, not a lot of people did know. I mean, he was a chain smoker, but not a lot of people knew that he smoked because he refused to smoke in front of kids. He refused to smoke because he didn't want to perpetuate his habit. So he refused to smoke.
That's good quality out of him.
Yeah,
you know
he really
I mean?
he refused. If he was in earnest, if he was playing Ernest, if he was in earnest garb, he wouldn't smoke.
Right.
There's a lot we don't got actors like that anymore.
No,
they don't
not at all.
And I just my
smoking is something that's dying off though. Anyway, a lot of people don't smoke or have quit smoking, and even from our generation, all of our friends that smoked in high school, none of us smoke anymore.
I don't I really get tired of I don't smoke. I vape. It's the same thing.
Yeah. I hate that. I do that. Yeah, I know a few people like that.
Also, if you're vaping, you're most likely getting more nicotine than you would from smoking.
Well, don't you get that, isn't that, they call it popcorn lung
Popcorn
now?
lung, yeah, where you pretty much essentially boil your lungs.
Oh, is that what
it is?
Yeah.
It's like...
Because you're essentially...
It looks like popcorn.
It's not smoke that you're inhaling, you're inhaling vapor.
I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it's essentially, it's like water in your lungs.
Yeah.
And if you look at an x-ray, it looks like popcorn. That's why I call it popcorn lung.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. I've never seen any pictures of it.
I think it's a buildup of too much moisture inside your lungs.
and it creates these bubbles.
Yeah. So people they got a whole realm of new issues with that.
Oh
shit,
yeah.
So.
My grandma got me really into Jim Varney, and then she told me when he passed, and I remember being like, "Oh, what? That sucks." And then it was lung cancer. I was like, "He smoked?"
Exactly. That was my reaction. That was my reaction.
Is that all you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all the movies I watched this week.
I had a few. So I watched that Nick Kroll stand-up, that new special he's got on on Netflix. I watched that. That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I like that guy. He's
I like
funny.
Nick Kroll. He's good. I like him. He's funny. He's funny.
He's a funny guy.
He's a fucking funny guy. I liked him. It was good. It was a good stand-up too. I got into It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I love that show.
So I've never really watched. I've watched a couple of episodes here and there, but I've never really like got into the show.
Wait until you get to the Ponderosa wedding massacre. That's my favorite episode.
So
ever.
I'm just finishing up the first season, which is only like 7
Yeah,
episodes.
the first season is not as good.
I think they're trying to find their footing in this first season.
Yes, the first season they're just trying to find their
so,
footing.
because you can tell that.
Yeah, in the second season they really do find it.
Well, that's because they bring in Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito comes along, and then
Danny
like
DeVito came through in the second season.
second
Yeah,
season.
I've never
first
really been
episode.
interested
he was a fan of the first season, and
Yeah.
he really loved it, and he heard that it was in trouble, and he essentially went to like the what was it, FX or whatever, and
Yeah,
was
FX.
like, if I join the show, will it save it? And they were like, sure, we'll give it
Maybe.
a shot. And he joined and took off. So,
yeah, it's because Danny DeVito's hilarious.
Oh, it's
Everybody
fucking funny. This show is
Yeah,
great.
I'm trying to get through the first season because I'm like waiting for Danny because I know he really brings like a whole new thing to it.
Wait,
Because these are some fucking people
God.
that are like,
they're
it's
the-
like Seinfeld if you're for crackheads.
They're,
You know what I mean? Like that's what it is.
It's
'cause
the
these
only
are some
sitcom-
heartless fucking people.
It's the only sitcom where the characters do not grow as people; they perpetually get worse.
Yeah, exactly.
as the sitcom goes, like they're just get to be worse people.
Yeah.
like it's
I have watched a couple episodes, but it's something that I've like ever been like, oh, I would watch.
There
this
are
whole time.
15 seasons.
I know it's a real popular show,
And I'm just
not
like,
into it.
God, I don't know if I'm going to make it through all 15 seasons.
you will.
Like,
oh, you will.
I mean, they're only half-hour episodes, but
You'll make
I'm
it.
digging it. I'm like really into it. I even got Crystal and Madison watching it with me. So
I
they're
don't
like,
remember. There is an episode. I'm just gonna warn you, and it's in one of the seasons. Like I want to say like 12, 13, 14. You know, like upper, but it's kind of political, and you might want to turn it off, but don't. It's worth it.
Okay.
Because I was kind of like, oh, are they going that fucking route? Because everybody's going that fucking route, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, please don't. Please don't. And then at the end of the episode, I'm like, ah, you got me. You got me.
They were probably poking a joke at it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So I've been watching that. I got, like I said,
But it was a good joke. It wasn't a joke you saw coming.
I was almost. I got one more episode of the first season of that, and then me and Crystal started Midnight Club. We started
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So we've been watching that, and it's not too bad so far. I don't think Mike Flanagan can ever do anything as good as Midnight Mass.
It sucks when you do like something so high.
Which I
and-
haven't seen. I didn't watch The Haunting of Bly Manor or The Haunting of Hill House.
Look, Hill House was amazing. You
I heard
guys
that they were
watch it,
good.
I'm telling
I
you,
watched it.
But I
Bly
don't like,
Manor
I don't
was
like
okay.
haunted house
I didn't
movies
watch
and
Bly
shit.
Manor.
it was okay.
But dude, Midnight Mass is one of my all-time favorite miniseries. I fucking love that miniseries.
I've heard of a new show on Netflix. I'm thinking about trying out. It's called The Watcher.
I want to watch that too.
Oh yeah, I want to
Yeah.
watch that
That
too.
house.
Yeah,
I want to watch that too.
I've
Actually,
heard a lot
Yeah, I
about
wanna
that
see
house.
that.
that's
from,
it.
like,
That's on my
watching things,
to watch list.
Yeah, it's on mine too.
Netflix.
And
Yeah, I wanna
apparently
see
it's
that.
been getting really good reviews.
I bet.
I'm
yeah.
sure it is.
So I'm definitely gonna check that one out. So the Midnight Club is like a really good show for not just adults, I guess, but also teenagers. I guess you could say.
Yeah, it looks like it's
So it's
geared-
good. It could be more. Like, don't get me wrong. It still doesn't. I would say it doesn't hold back. I guess it does a little bit, but it does talk about self-harm and things like that and shit. But it's still a good show, and I'm only like 4 episodes in, I believe. So it could get better because that's how Midnight Mass was. It started out real slow.
Once again,
and-
if you know your own kids, you know what I mean. Like, you know
right?
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So I mean, if you think if it's something you're into, I mean, I think at each episode they tell a story. It's almost like.
So it's like an anthology then.
No. It's
No?
it's an actual like story in it, but
Okay.
the kids they gather at midnight every night
Yeah.
and tell a story.
Okay.
So that's why it's called the Midnight Club. So
okay, so it's kind of like
It's almost-
Nightmare. It's kind of like not Nightmare. It's kind of like
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
kind of only there's a story behind the kids, and they're all dying essentially. They all have the main girl has cancer,
Oh.
and
they're all terminal.
yeah, another one has leukemia. Like a boy has leukemia, shit
Okay.
like that. So like, so they all have something that's going to kill them, and that's an ongoing thing, a conflict within them. But the reason why this main girl comes to this house is because she heard about a girl who was at that house back in the, I want to say the 70s, and walked out. She had the same disease that she had, cancer, the same cancer that she had, and was cured. and she doesn't know how. She looked it up, and it was strange going-ons behind it. Like, she was gone for, like, she disappeared for a whole week in this house, and then she just turned up at the front door one day, and she was in full remission.
All better.
Yeah, so
Wow.
so that's the whole premise of this. And then they're like, there's a dark entity behind it, blah blah blah.
Well, that sounds cool as hell.
So it's pretty interesting, and it's cool to like. I think my favorite part of it is each episode. Almost every episode, you get a different story from each kid, and like a different haunted story of some kind.
Okay.
So it's pretty cool. I think this last one was like about the girl. There's a girl in a wheelchair, and she talks about how a ballerina made a deal with the devil and blah blah blah, this and that. So check it out. It's good. It's a good show. And then I watched Halloween Ends on
I have not watched it yet.
is that on
Paramount?
Paramount?
Peacock.
It's on
Peacock.
Peacock, yeah. It's on Peacock. We checked it out, and I just want to say the first half or the first 2/3 of the movie should not have been called Halloween. It should have been called, I don't know. I don't know.
Not Halloween.
Not Halloween. It should have been called something along the lines of like fucking, I don't know.
Just say not Halloween.
Not Halloween.
Not a lot.
Making a serial
not
killer.
a lot of people have seen it.
Yeah,
I
the
guess.
making of a serial killer. That's what
Oh,
it's
is
been
it
called.
mainly just about what
Yeah,
happened
it's
to
just-
Michael Myers?
No. It was about nothing to do with Michael Myers. Like, nothing to do with Michael Myers for the
Okay.
full 2/3 of the movie. First 2/3 of the movie. And then it gets to the Michael Myers stuff, and then there's like this big... I liked it, but I think it should have been two separate movies. Like, it should have been another movie that wasn't Halloween, and then this Halloween movie that apparently was only a half hour long. So,
Like part 1 and part 2.
yeah.
I wasn't thrilled with the second one,
I wasn't either. That's why...
and I'm scared to death. I might hate this third one. I think it's.
I liked
keep
the
putting it
third
off.
one is the problem, but I don't like it as a Halloween movie. I don't like it as a Halloween movie. I like it for other reasons. Like,
Fair enough.
it's a weird. I'm
I
conflicted.
have movies like that too.
I'm conflicted. So if you're, let me put it like this: I would recommend to anybody who has seen the other two, and is a completionist, and if you're interested, check it out. But other than that, if it's somebody else going into the whole series, like I'm gonna watch these new Halloween movies as a continuation after the first or whatever, I'm gonna be like, don't.
Yeah, I agree with
Don't.
you there. I agree with you there. 100%.
Don't bother.
Stick with the
Like,
original
yeah.
iteration.
Yeah, if you feel like it's something that you might check out, I'm just gonna tell you not to bother,
Yeah.
because obviously you're not interested enough to care that much.
You know what really
Just don't.
threw me off was 4.
Yeah. Don't.
Like I
Okay.
said,
I can
whole other
explain that. I
podcast.
can explain that, but yeah, no. It.
whole other
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I've
I
been
can explain
watching.
it to you on the way home if you want.
Okay, yeah, because
remind me.
It's the
Yeah.
4 is the one with the little girl, right?
Yeah, that's where the little girl.
Yeah, it is weird. I don't understand what's
Or
going on.
no, that's the one with Paul Rudd. Or is that 5?
No, that's 5. Are you
No,
talking about the one with the masks?
4 and 5. No, that was 3.
That was 3. That was
4 and 5 were with the little girl, and then 6 was
and
with
6 was Paul Rudd.
Mm-hmm. Where Tommy Doyle comes. He comes
Yep,
back as Tommy
yep,
Doyle.
yep.
Which,
That's when
by
I
the
start
way,
talking
did you
about
know
it.
that they approached him to see if he wanted to play Tommy Doyle
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
And he said no.
Actually, he said
Well,
it was a scheduling conflict. They,
yeah.
they always say that. I think it's just because
I
they
think it's
don't
just-
want to do it.
Yeah,
I
was
think he
like,
read the
eh.
script and saw that giant turd at the end and was
Yeah.
like, fuck that.
Either that, or he was probably just kind of like, it's not really what I'm into now. You know what I mean? Like,
It's kind of funny.
his career skyrocketed.
I
Why
think
would he
it's
want to
funny.
fuck around with
I
some
wanna
Halloween
see more-
movies?
I want to see more stories about actors that read the script and were like, nah, I don't want to do it.
There are plenty of stories like that, but they don't always tell you either.
you just read between the lines. They call it a scheduling conflict.
Yeah. So he's like, a scheduling conflict.
Anytime they say scheduling conflict, just don't go see the
that's what I'm
movie.
saying, is there's
I would say that motherfucker ain't doing nothing right
there's
now.
not many,
Like,
there's not many ones where it's like always.
I can name 3 right now. Speed 2, Cruise Control.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves wasn't doing shit.
Hocus Pocus 2, Thor Birch, Scheduling Conflict. That bitch ain't doing nothing. And right now, Paul Rudd, Scheduling Conflict.
He's got Ant-Man and the Wasp in the Quantum Realm or whatever coming out, but that was like...
He did really good in
but that was like...
Afterlife.
You know what I mean? That's just started filming. He could have easily done Halloween Kills.
Well, maybe he had a dentist appointment.
Yeah.
Scheduling Conflict doesn't necessarily
Sorry,
mean
I've
filming.
got parent-teacher conferences that day.
Yeah, there you go. Parent-teacher conferences.
Yeah, I just think it's funny because, that's never just, that person didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, of course not. They're not going to put that out there.
Yeah, they're not gonna put it out there. Well, they read the script and said they didn't like it, so they didn't want to do it.
I ever start doing movies and I do, if they ever say scheduling conflict, I'm like, that's bullcrap.
Yeah, you're gonna
I
go.
read that script.
You're
I
not
was
doing
like,
shit. You're not doing shit, man.
I'm gonna say you're gonna get blacklisted pretty quickly. I'm just saying, you're gonna run out of work pretty fast.
Pretty fast.
I don't think I would last in Hollywood though. I think because I would want to only do what I wanted to do, and then also there would be a.
I would only want to do what I want to do.
Bill Murray's made a great career out of that, actually.
Well, no, because there'd be.
Well, he did. He used to, not anymore.
Well, that's because he doesn't want to do anything anymore.
Well,
He is pretty rich, I would say.
That's what I'm saying. He
also,
doesn't
with the fact
have
of me
to.
being a white Christian male, I'm gonna say like that's why I won't get on Facebook and Twitter and stuff because I'm gonna get banned.
You don't coincide with our beliefs, so you've got to go.
Chris
All right.
Pratt's
All right. Let's move
Yeah,
on,
I'm
guys.
more vocal than the good thing about Chris Pratt is he don't come out and say it. Everybody just knows it.
Fair enough.
I would come out and say, "Oh, I don't." Agree
You know,
with that."
I just want to put this out there. Arnold Schwarzenegger is also a Republican.
Oh, yeah.
Is he?
Yes, he was a Republican governor for the state of California.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was.
And he was a Republican, and Chris Pratt married his fucking daughter. Put two and two together.
Actually, I've heard that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Chris Pratt are actually pretty good friends.
They are very good friends. They're very close. They're very close. Anyway, Karen, you want to read us off the plot here?
So, plot for Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh,
1991.
Hold on. Yeah, there you go. You got it. Rated PG comes out in sorry.
Go ahead.
Rated PG comes out in an hour 31, starring Jim Varney and Eartha Kitt. Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
Directed by John R. Cherry. You want me to talk about who wrote it?
You got this.
Written by John Cherry, Coke Sams, and Charles Gale.
It's the same guys that directed and wrote a lot of the.
There's
movies.
a lot of the same people.
They did a couple of Disney movies too.
So the synopsis is: well-intentioned, eternally bumbling, honest P. Rural accidentally releases an evil demon. I don't know why I say demon.
He's definitely a troll.
Yeah.
Definitely a troll.
Well, if you remember in one part of the movie, he does say he calls upon the demons of.
Yeah.
At the part in the tree,
Oh
he calls
yeah,
upon
but
the
he's
demons.
really talking to the demons to come. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
From its sacred tomb, as the demon flexes its power and goes on a ruinous rampage, good guy Ernest tries to step in to save the town from mass destruction. Trouble is, a 200-year-old curse has scared Ernest stupid, and that means hilarity all around. So kick back and let the laugh-ridden adventures begin.
Okay. Wouldn't go that.
I'm
far.
just reading it.
They could've-
I didn't write it. I'm just the reader.
They're really sticking it on thick there.
It was a troll.
It was a troll.
They made
yeah.
it very clear in
Definitely.
the movie that it was.
It was a troll. Yeah.
Is that kind of like Troll 2, where they call them trolls, but they're goblins?
They're goblins. Yeah. It's
never
gonna
seen
eat.
that,
It's eating her.
I've never seen.
Then
that.
Oh my god!
I've heard I have to see those.
You do.
You
have
do. You
Maybe
can
we
skip
should-
the first one.
Yeah, they're not connected.
They're not
You're not
connected
going to
in
miss
any way.
it. There's no continuity
No.
problems if you just go straight
No,
to
they
two.
just made this other. They made Troll 2, and then it wasn't even. Well, actually, they made this movie about goblins, and then just called it Troll 2.
Yeah.
Well, because I was talking to Milo about the movie, and he actually said, "I'm really surprised you haven't seen it already," because he knows I'm.
You
into
talk
it.
about B-rated movies.
It's a
That's
movie-
the best
Well,
one
'cause-
ever made.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know. Oh,
cheesy.
hold on now. That's an extreme. That's got a few good lines in it, but it's not the best. It's not the best B movie.
The popcorn.
Huh?
The popcorn.
The popcorn.
The popcorn scene alone.
Yeah, no. I don't know,
Oh,
man.
come on.
It does get a little gross at times, but I don't know, man. Like I don't think it's the best B movie. Fucking dude. All right. Jack Frost was better. And Jack Frost 2. Yeah, those are better B movies. Yeah, because they were just all around fucking stupid.
Wasn't there a movie where Goldberg was the?
Yeah, that was
Wasn't that about like?
Yeah, that was about Santa Claus. He was a Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I think it was called.
Wasn't it called Santa Claus?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I just remember kind of hating
I know it's a horror movie where Santa
cringy.
Claus loses his shit.
It wasn't even like good B. It was.
Nah, it was kind of like
cringy.
yeah.
Well, see, like I said, I'm not sure if it's just B movies or cheesy movies that I'm into. But I guess B and
cheese is kind of
they go hand in hand.
Yeah,
that's like having your Coke and your popcorn at the movie theater.
Yeah, you kind of need they go together exactly.
So anyway, where was he going with this? Oh yeah, what the fuck?
I don't know.
Can I just say that the parts in the movie where he changes characters are like the best parts?
Those are the best
parts. Yes. So like my favorite character is the lumberjack. Because
I'm a lumberjack in Botswana and I ain't never had a job.
There ain't no trees in Botswana. I would know I'm a Botswanian lumberjack and I ain't never had a job. That part cracks me up every fucking time. Every time.
I like him as the old lady in the neck brace. Okay, I don't know if she's smoking or what, but like she's always like
he would never smoke.
She's always got that gossipy voice on, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like
sure, yeah.
So I really like that.
That's funny though. I just like the way she's always like, you know,
and she
like,
talks with that voice, like, oh my god.
So like, I just have this question though, like this, and this never even occurred to me. It only occurred on this viewing. Okay, so in every single Ernest movie that I've seen, and I've only seen 3.
What only occurred to hold on, I want to put this into context here because the only reason why anything occurs to you on this viewing is because you're taking notes. Normally,
I know.
You watch these
like
movies. You watch these movies with just you turn off your brain.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're not thinking about anything.
Maybe it has occurred to me, but it just like it
never clicked,
and it just went away.
Yeah.
But like
that's the thing now. We're spending a lot more time.
Yeah. So like in every Ernest movie, right? He lives in a different town.
Yeah.
With different people.
Yeah.
Different, right? And every town is home. Right? Like he's lived there his whole life, or like there's ancestors, and
he's very like,
and you know what I'm
saying? This is my home, and nobody comes. You know what I mean? Like,
every single one. He knows all the kids. He knows all the adults. He's got ancestors there. Like,
well, he's an all-American hero. That's what it is.
I like to think that there's just an Ernest in every town.
That's what I was going to say. I think there's more than one.
I think there's an Ernest in every town.
That's my theory.
And before
Maybe
Jim,
that's what it is.
I think before Jim Barney died, they should have just done a movie where it was like.
All the Ernest.
Ernest meets all the other Ernests.
Yeah. And they find out that there's more than one. Maybe they don't even know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome. Like a multiverse of Ernest. Ernest in the multiverse of Ernest.
There you go.
Also, I when he went to the woman's house, all the open fires could be claimed as dangerous.
I know. I was like, why is there an open flame right next to the front door? like just fire.
Also, like this thing of a dragon, and it's blowing fire, and then over here there's just a random fire.
It's like, for one, you're gonna get carbon monoxide poisoning because I know that's gas, and for two, dude, you got a fire hazard here. Like, I'm surprised you're.
But
you notice like there's no walls, man. It's just beams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, so I'm like, did they just not finish this house, or did she manage to almost burn it down a couple
Was it a
times?
house?
She's a very artsy person, so I think it was a mansion.
Was it a mansion?
If you look at the outside of it, it was
massive.
clearly
massive,
a very nice mansion.
It looked like
the 2 front doors just reminded me of a barn.
Well, the 2 front doors reminded me of an old plantation home.
I will tell you, I was kind of digging her sculptures.
Yeah, they were cool.
I kind of dig like her sculptures.
I know. I really like the big bags of trash can in her trash in her front yard too.
No, I didn't care for that.
The mayor tells the
the
sheriff,
front door.
He's like, she's breaking every
code.
Oh yeah, the front doors though. I like that. I mean, I wouldn't want them for my front doors, but like I wouldn't. I would think it'd be kind of cool to like have you hanging on your wall or something like that. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, she had some really cool ones.
Yeah, but like but here's the thing, like, and it doesn't bother me necessarily, but I find it kind of weird. But if our theory holds true, it makes sense. But like, there's no continuity between any of the movies. No. Like, he doesn't ever talk about any of his other adventures.
It's Ernest Saves Christmas. He's not on there like, Yeah, I remember whenever I
know
had
that-
to save Halloween.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh no, I know Santa's real. Trust me. Just trust me on this
Yeah.
one. You know what I mean? Like there's no, like he can't take that knowledge and apply it to this. To
yeah,
say,
because
like,
if you think about it, like, well, since he's been to jail before,
right,
he's not.
right.
They're not going to give him a job driving a trash truck.
Right,
Well, I don't know.
right.
They might. We've got some sketchy dudes
Well,
driving
that's
our
true.
trash cuts around.
And speaking of the trash truck, why would that be the sheriff's job?
Yeah,
Yeah.
When the guy comes, I know
when the
about
mayor
trash. Why
starts
is
screaming
that?
at him to tell Ernest what to do, I'm like, that's your fucking
That's your
job.
fucking job. He's the
You're the
sheriff,
fucking
dude.
mayor.
Yeah, he's not the. And
Well,
then
I'm
he's like,
sure that actually that's not the mayor's job, but I'm sure that Ernest has a boss that's not the
not the
fucking
mayor.
sheriff.
Like,
I like
yeah.
when he gets-
Then they were like, whenever they put me in charge of Sydney or of city, what do they call that job? Sanitation.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
city sanitation was like, whoever put Ernest in that job position is a fucking idiot.
worse.
You
than
just got to meet this guy for like, I don't know, 3 minutes and know that he's not capable. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, who gave him a license?
Yeah, who gave him
who
a CDL?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
hold on, how'd you pass that test? I bet somebody had to have just been annoyed. Like, here, take it, get
Just
the fuck
fucking
out
get
of
outta
here.
here.
Well, the one thing when he's talking to the two guys in the store and they're giving him all the troll stuff, and they're like 1,000 something. Okay, where's he at? Where's all this money come from?
Yeah, how do you have just? Well, I don't think Ernest spends much money. He wears the same clothes all the time, man.
Yeah, he probably just has a giant savings account. You know what I mean?
He's just some rich dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you say they never show his house or anything, so
It's true. It's very true.
they never show his home unless he's living in that trash truck. And by the way, about that trash truck, totally brought back Chucky 3 vibes. Just saying. The kill where the trash guy he climbs inside of the trash truck because he hears someone yelling. And he's like, oh my God, he gets in there, and then Chucky squashes
It's been a long
him in
time
there.
since I've seen the third one.
Well, that totally reminded me of Chucky 3, which came out actually a year later. So I'm thinking, like, did they steal that kill from Ernest?
I'm actually like really glad that they didn't like save Ernest from the trash truck because, and not to say that I like wanted him to die, but just because it was like funnier to me that he came out like in the block. You know what I mean?
Also, I like the little. Oh, I got a family with the doll.
I know where you live. So I got a question too, like those kids, like why do they get mad at the Murdochs when they destroyed their haunted house? Because the first rain, the thing's gonna collapse
That's
anyway.
right.
I mean,
I had a comment about that. I'm like, why was it in the 90s that every movie the bully was always some fat kid?
Oh,
dude, that fat kid was ugly too.
He
Like,
was
I'm not
ugly
trying.
as
I'm
shit.
not trying to be
No,
mean,
fuck
but,
that.
like,
That kid's ugly.
Oh my god.
I wrote
Unless
down
he-
that too. It says in the early '90s, chubby kids were always the bullies.
They were always the bullies.
He wrote that out.
They were bullies. Like, I didn't understand. I'm like, why are the fat kids? Like, they're just reminding me of like O'Doyle rules. You know what I mean? Like, it was always the fat
That's
kids.
hilarious.
And if they can be a redhead, it's even better for 'em. Remember Little Rascals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he wasn't fat though.
No, but he was a redhead.
Oh, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, like
they were
fat
either
or the
redhead or
redhead,
fat,
yeah.
if not both. And
That's
with
true.
Adam Sandler, they were both.
That's
The
true.
O'Doyles were
Well, also, did
redheaded
you
and
realize
fat.
that anybody else besides me realized that the main bully's name was Matt Murdock?
I did not.
I didn't realize that. No,
I did not.
that's
So-
funny.
Yeah.
I think somebody might have been a Daredevil fan.
Yeah. Wow. I did not put that together, dude. When the when the birds pooped on him when they were trying to find
Oh.
a tree, and he goes inhabited.
Inhabited.
I laughed so hard.
And I was just like, I was thinking, like, I'm glad that didn't land in his mouth.
It was just so funny. Like the bird poops on it, he's like inhabited.
There were so many great lines in that movie. Like, I also remember if we get separated, the bark always grows on the outside of the tree.
And right
Yeah, I
before-
remember saying, like,
right before that, when he said, what did he say? The worst thing that can happen is Dutch elm, right? But none of us are Dutch. Oh, I laughed so hard.
it's so funny because, like, a lot of the lines in this movie, you're like, as a kid, you don't pick up on that.
No,
shit.
you don't. Like, I would have
As
never.
an adult, you're like,
Yeah, as an adult, you're like, what the hell did he just say?
yeah, like, why would he say that? Like, he really is a dumbass.
It's like that. Yeah, there's so many great lines, and I think it's funny too when the woman comes running out. Like, you didn't hear them working on the treehouse.
Oh, I know.
Your house is right there
But
in the background.
I have a theory about that. I don't think she actually wanted to stop them.
Oh yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
she did want. That is
Because
true.
she wanted
I
to
don't-
save her
yeah, I don't
brothers.
Think, yeah, I don't think she actually wanted to stop them at any point.
I don't think she did either. I think that I liked her as a character, but she didn't give a lot of meaning to the movie, I guess.
I think she
and-
was just there for like the letting
To push the plot
to
forward a
push
little
the plot.
bit.
Also, when I was a kid, I remember seeing Ernest Scared Stupid. That troll creeped me out.
Oh, for
as a
sure,
kid.
dude. Whenever I was a kid, that thing used to creep the shit out of me.
Yeah.
No?
It never scared me.
It scared the shit out of
It
me when I
didn't
was a
scare
kid.
me, but it was because also I will say when I was a kid and I saw the Ninja Turtles with the Razor and
Yeah.
stuff, those creeped me out.
They didn't
too.
creep me out.
I'll tell
but-
you, like, I don't know, maybe this was the reason, but like, it never scared me. It kind of grossed me out.
Well, with all the snot and stuff.
Yeah, it's all slimy.
Yeah,
and
I
shit.
thought that too.
never-
I actually wrote that down. I was like, the snotty ass nose is gross, man.
Yeah, that never really
Like,
bothered
especially
me.
whenever it first comes out, it's just and it looks like realistic runny
Yeah, like
snot.
snot.
you
Yeah,
know
he,
what I mean?
he never
Like,
he never scared me. It was more like ugh.
grossing you out.
Yeah.
it
I will
creeped
say
me
that
out
one of
as
the
a kid.
best effects in this movie though were them pods.
Yeah, those. Are
Oh,
Where
yeah,
they got
those
the
were
close
really-
up,
yeah.
where they got the close up on them pods, I was like, dude, those things look badass. Those are like actually gross and they looked realistic almost. They look like fucked up fucking strawberry asparagus mixtures. I don't know, man. They look,
Yeah.
but then they had like this creepy like snail looking things coming out of them. I was like, hey, they look pretty cool.
I want to know why the Murdoch kids were in the troll trap. Like what? Because there was nothing in that troll trap.
That's what I thought, and I'm like, because what I was
No, I
thinking,
never even thought of that. Like
Yeah,
why
'cause
they
it
would
was-
even be.
why
in
were
there.
I was thinking that too, like, why the fuck are they? Why would they crawl in there? It says kids, like
'Cause
kids
they're idiots.
inside. Well, I was like, but I was really thinking like, dude, I hope there's not a grown ass man inside that thing, because it says right on the side, kids inside. I'm like, dude,
What's really also
It's an
shit's about to get
Maybe
real
they can't
fucking
do
weird.
that.
Yeah.
What's really funny to me too is the cop don't believe in trolls, but he's ready to shoot. At
That's
whatever
I
comes
wrote
out
that
the back
down
of that
too.
tree.
I wrote
Yeah.
that down too. I said, where did I don't even remember where I wrote it, but like where he said I wrote on there like for a guy who don't believe in the trolls, he sure pulled out his gun pretty quick when they said there was a troll in there.
The sheriff don't believe trolls, but he's willing to shoot whatever's coming out the back.
Dude,
of that
I
tree.
gotta say though, next to Ernest, the sheriff is the dumbest person in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he is not a smart person at all. Like if you think about it, for one, he doesn't do shit. Like he doesn't do
Yeah, he
anything.
doesn't really do anything.
He just follows Ernest and turns on his lights like, hey, you need to get down there to that house like I told you. It's like, dude, you're telling me you didn't get any calls about somebody, I don't know, rampaging through the market or, you know what I mean? Like nothing at all, like missing kids and you're sitting your ass in your fucking sheriff
he
station
was
on
all
your
about,
ass.
Oh, they're at the school.
They're at the school. Dude, if I don't know about you, but if somebody comes and says, hey, my kids are missing, get your fucking ass out there, check it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Believe the parents whenever they say we can't find our kids. This
Yeah.
dude's just like, it's fine, it's fine. You are the most. How did you get elected sheriff? Because you are not good at this job.
Probably the mayor.
Yeah, because he's not very smart either.
He's a
And then the mayor's got them dumbass kids.
yeah, no shit.
Also, when Ernest is at the tree, but when the troll first comes and he opens his door, knows the troll ran straight into the door and Ernest just
Ernest didn't even notice it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, oh.
Oh, you're telling me he didn't feel any of that?
Like I want to know though, like when the Murdochs show up at the treehouse at the very first like thing, like who wastes pizza like that? Like who buys pizza?
Yeah,
to flame?
I made a note of that actually. I was like, why? So you're telling me they made pizza just to throw at these fucking kids?
Well,
Yeah.
no,
I would have used a frozen pizza. That shit would hurt more.
I didn't write it down, but they had a lot of
Who
technology.
wastes
for-
pizza?
I don't know, man.
They had a lot
I mean, I get the dog food.
So
Or,
is
like,
that?
what-
Do you have that pizza in your trivia? Anything
Yeah, I
about
do.
that
I do have something about the pizza.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
actually.
I saw it and I didn't want to.
Yeah, I do.
I think it's funny though because like where did that technology? Like Ernest is supposed to be stupid. Did he invent all
Yeah,
this stuff?
and then he's got this hand that flings like
no,
electronic cannon.
no, I think the kids came up with that.
really?
Yeah, but
No,
like,
because he said I've had all this stuff just at my house and
he did.
yeah,
Oh, I didn't
he's the one who
notice
brought
that.
all that
He's
stuff.
I've collected this junk for years or something like that.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
But like, what I didn't get though is like Elizabeth did that report, right? So like she did the
On the
report on the
troll,
troll.
yeah.
How did she not know like about all that shit? So like she hears about all that stuff third hand from Ernest after he hears it from old lady Hackmore. You know, about the curse and about the
Yeah.
you know, like
I don't
she
really-
did the report. So like, what did she just do? Like half-ass the first 2 seconds of the report? Like she
Right.
didn't know any of the rest of that?
Like
That's true, yeah.
Well, she just did kind of like the first part where.
So we're talking.
Right, but she's supposed to do a
So
report.
hold on.
So she doesn't do the whole thing. Like she doesn't know the whole
Hold on.
story.
I want to stop you right there and say this is an Ernest movie, and you're talking about continuity errors.
No, I'm just saying it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
She should have known more.
She should have known more.
The fact that Ernest is driving a trash truck doesn't make any fucking sense either. But
right, but you brought that up. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make any, like, that alone, that should have been, like, that's glaring.
some writing issues in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe an incompetent person.
Like maybe that should have been something where instead of that one Joey kid being the one going, "Oh, I don't know about this, guys," it should have been Elizabeth back there going like, "Hey guys, no, this is a bad idea because the troll. Remember what I told you about the troll? I don't know."
Well, I can understand some of the stuff is meant to be funny because, like, okay, when Ernest gets that can put onto him,
the giant can opener.
Giant can opener. Where'd she get that?
I wrote that down too.
Where'd the
Where
giant
you get a giant can opener from?
Oh yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, that's some shit you'd see in like a Power Ranger show.
I actually wrote on where does one get a giant can opener?
And the fact that she thought it was gonna work made it even better. Like, is that can opener is designed to push the metal down?
I like how she starts, right? And she gets about like 2/3 of the way in, and then she hears something and she straight walks away. Yeah. But when the troll first shows up, did you guys hear when he said, what did he say? "Boy, I sure hope you're from Keebler."
Oh, yeah. Oh, I sure hope you're from Keebler.
Yeah, I like that line. That's why, like, one of my notes is this movie has so many great lines.
And he was not interested in helping. You know what I mean? Like, he was ready to run and flee the country until she called him the Great Redneck Hope.
Oh, yeah. The Great Redneck Hope. He's like, yeah. I am, you're right.
The Great Redneck Hope.
It's so funny because like Ernest has no care in the world for like any of the kids in this movie. So like at the end, he was like not at all upset about any of the kids getting turned into little wood dolls. But then his dog gets turned into a fucking wood doll.
Dog.
I don't care.
Rimshot.
We're talking about 5 children that
listen. Have you ever heard that theory about like anybody can die in a movie but don't kill the dog?
Don't kill the dog. Yeah, because he did not give a shit until Rimshot, which by the way is a fucked up name for a dog.
I thought so too.
I'm like, who the fuck names their dog Rimshot? My mind goes to dirty places whenever I hear Rimshot.
Well, to be fair, back then, probably not.
Maybe not, but
the world is a lot more fun. Nobody ate ass in the 90s, okay?
Bullshit, dude. They've been eating an ass in the dude.
Nobody talked about it.
Nobody. Okay, maybe, but there were subtle hints at it, like Rimshot.
Also, at the school thing,
only you would think that Ernest had a dog named Rimshot because it was about ass eating. Come the hell on.
No, I'm thinking not ass eating, like like an ass is like
See, this is the one bad thing. This is the one thing that I hate about the world now. Everybody has to turn something wholesome into something bad.
Okay, but like,
hold on, I'm gonna stop you right fucking there because everything wholesome, like a lot of times they will talk about something bad in subtle ways, like just look at Disney for the past fucking 50 years.
Because look, I was looking at Ernest Scared Stupid shirts, and they had shirts where Ernest in Hell. Come on.
What's wrong with that?
That is not. It's Ernest is wholesome. You don't do that. And then also,
I kind of agree with him. I don't like that.
People think that shit's funny. It's just
no. They also had one that had an upside down Christmas tree and Ernest hanging on it. Like, what the hell, man? That is supposed to be something wholesome for kids.
I agree with him.
You could say the same. You can make the same argument about Barney, and people make fun of him and all this shit that.
And it's bullcrap. Why do we have to? Also, what they did with that new Pooh movie. Why does everything that was considered wholesome at one time have to be dark and dirty?
I don't agree with the Pooh movie, but like I'm talking, like I'm thinking like Mr. Rogers and stuff like that kind of stuff. Like,
okay, so you're telling me the one with Mr. Rogers where he's putting on the sweater and it's actually Freddy Krueger's arm and glove.
I like
Isn't badass.
I like that.
Well,
yeah. But no, I'm talking when he's talking about though, like where it's perverted into something that is completely
not what it's supposed to be. Like if Jim Varney saw this stuff, I think he would be like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think you just let it ride. Like, yeah, fuck
I
it.
mean, I'm not gonna go and like to these websites and be like, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, you would, Karen.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, because
Yeah.
I seen these shirts, and I was like, the only thing I did, I'm not gonna. Yeah, okay, some other people might like it, but I'm not friends with those people, and also I'm gonna be like, that's stupid. Come on, man, that's not needed.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy him, and I don't really care for it, but you know, to each their own.
Okay. All right. Well, you know,
But
But like, I agree with you though. He doesn't give a shit about these kids, and the reason is there's another part in the movie where she says something about the world ending, or you know, Armageddon or whatever, and he goes, "But just the kids, right?" Big old smile on his face. Remember that?
yeah.
Yeah, he thinks that they're going after just the
Yeah,
kids.
he's like, "But just the
And I
kids,
think
right?"
that's, honestly, I really do think that was the biggest downfall of this movie because,
in the other movies, kids are.
yeah,
they're,
like in any other,
yeah.
like this is supposed to be a children's movie.
Mm-hmm.
Ernest doesn't give a fuck about the kids. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, he's very self-absorbed. He only cares about himself for the most part and his dog. And he doesn't really, like, he's so stupid.
I would
Like, and I think that's the biggest issue I have with this movie is that he's so dumb that he doesn't care about anything else but himself and what's happening right in front of him.
I don't think I would go that far. I don't think he doesn't give a shit.
I
think
would.
It's just,
I would totally.
It's just a little. It's less.
I think you
Damn.
don't thought.
I think he's very disconnected is the
I
problem.
think what it
is what
is-
I'm
Maybe
saying.
disconnected.
What I think it is,
That
is
might
I
be the
don't
right
think he
word.
thinks. Also, I don't think he realizes it's as bad as it is.
Maybe. But like I said, though, he's very, like I just said, he's very just disconnected. He doesn't fully understand the stakes and the severity of the situation. So, like, he doesn't care about the situation. He doesn't care about the kids. He doesn't care about all these things that are happening around him, which could be very detrimental. Kids are literally could die. You know what I mean? If he doesn't help. And it's a problem that he started.
But to be fair, it is a kids movie, and he's
Right,
supposed to keep things light,
And I understand
right?
that. Yeah.
So if Ernest is showing
Also, remember
urgency and freaking out, you know, then the kids who are watching are going to get scared.
Yeah.
Also, if you,
So-
you also got to think as they stated in the movie, he's got the heart of a child. He is basically a child himself.
That is true, and they do say that actually.
And he can't quite if that's the truth, and he's, you know, supposed to be as stupid as they say he is, he probably can't comprehend what's going on.
And you know what's even funnier than that? If he's got a heart of a child, they actually say that children have less sympathy than adults.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yeah, it's because they don't know how to
sympathize. Yeah.
They don't have kids don't quite get empathy until they're like 6 or 7, and even then it's kind of
Yeah.
still
Spotty.
you know, yeah. So I'm really kind of pissed off about Elizabeth having her own bathroom. She's like, what, 12?
Really?
Yeah, I still don't have my own bathroom.
Didn't even pay
Fucking bitch.
attention. I don't even have my own bathroom. What are you talking about?
I've had my own.
Yeah,
bathroom,
I want my
so-
own bathroom.
I can't even take a shit with
But
without
at
somebody
12,
walking in.
yeah, at 12, your own bathroom.
And did anybody notice the Dunkin' Donuts in the sheriff's department? Come on.
No, I did
How?
not
I mean,
notice.
come on.
What are they fucking rich?
I mean, I'm just saying, donuts in the cop shop. Like we gotta go there.
Where they're going there?
My gosh.
One of the things I think is also there's a part where Ernest is in the thing in the school after the like whole concession stand fell on him, and they pushed the popcorn thing off of his head. I'm sorry, but he's going to be in pain if he got hit in the head with a popcorn machine.
Yeah, I mean, like, you guys want to go back to the first Scream movie on that one? Only instead of a popcorn machine, it was a fucking TV. Just saying.
I mean, he might be okay.
I mean, he might be okay too. So if he comes back for Scream 12 or whatever,
Well, a TV's a little different. I think a TV would be a little more heavy.
not exactly. Them popcorn machines are heavy. It's a full-blown popcorn machine.
yeah, it was a big one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of the
They
small
landed
ones.
on his
Never mind.
fucking face.
There
Yeah.
are ones that are just like though it wouldn't have hurt so bad if he would have got hit with just the glass because the glass could have broke. But it is like showing the end of the popcorn.
Yeah,
machine
like
is
landing on
his
him.
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
So can I just put it out there that the end of the movie with all the little trolls and shit coming out, that's Killer Clowns from Outer Space for
A
kids.
lot of them reminded me of it.
That's Killer Clowns from Outer Space for
There
kids.
were a lot of them that looked like it.
Is that trivia too?
Did you guys know that?
No,
No.
what?
You guys didn't know that.
No.
Seriously, you're not.
But they're based.
You're not
Are they
fucking with.
based off of it?
Yeah.
It's the same guys.
Is it?
Is it really?
I was wondering
I've
because
known
a couple
that
of
for
them,
years.
I was a couple of them.
It
that,
is
like,
it is in trivia, but it's the same guys.
Yeah, because there was a couple of them where I was like, well, that reminds me of this.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give you the whole trivia, but yeah, it's the same guys. I really thought you guys knew that.
I didn't know
I
that,
did
no.
not.
Oh.
Fuck you, Karen.
It literally is the very first thing in the credits.
Huh?
Creatures by Chiodo Brothers.
I don't know who the fuck the Chiodo brother are.
Who the fuck are you people? Why am I even here?
Well, Karen just left the group.
I didn't know who did the Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
We are taking applications. Whoa.
That sounds like a garage door.
It was a garage door.
But also with those kids that have come from, like, the girl, sister, how'd you get so old? Those kids are gonna be confused growing up.
Oh yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I was kind of confused.
Watch when a car goes past. Oh shit!
What the hell was that? No, I was confused because those kids were wearing some clothes that seemed a little bit too old for even her to understand. You know.
Yeah, they
Even
were.
before
the
her
weird
time.
thing is they were a little older than what that time looked.
Yeah, because like when he's
She looked like them kids looked like
that
they
was like-
straight
well,
walked off the
he was
plantation.
like what 7 generations or whatever.
Yeah,
Were they?
so
Was she just holding on to those?
I
things
didn't
for 7
understand either. But then she
generations?
calls them like siblings.
Yeah,
like she knows them.
She knows them. So like,
And they
is
called her
she-
sister.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a witch.
That's what I was wondering. Like, are you older than you're leading on?
That did kind of throw me too, because I was like, because he says sister, and then that reminded me. I was like, well,
Yeah, the timeline's
that's not
fucky.
really the time.
Yeah, it is a little funky because I was like, hold on, it's supposed to be of 200 years. There ain't no way you're over 200 years old, lady.
Yeah, the timeline's a little fucky.
But they could make her like a witch. It would work.
I mean, they could, but
They
they
never-
didn't.
they
They
never
didn't
talked
ever
about it.
express it or anything.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like if they decided to do it again, they could always just make,
Without Jim Varney.
dude. That's not what I'm just saying. Like if they could say the canon is she was a witch,
Okay, yeah.
and we'd be like, okay, that makes sense.
Sure.
Or she was a guardian because she lived close to the tree. You know,
Yeah.
she was supposed to make sure, and she did a horrible job at it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They could have explained that a little bit better.
I agree. I think they should have explained it a little better.
Yeah. So can I just say that the truck troll fighting scene is absolutely my favorite part.
Yeah, it was pretty
100%.
fun. And where
The
did he
dog-
get
the
that
dog
big
driving.
ass sword? Because he didn't have that until that part.
And you never see it again.
Yeah, because he stabs it into the top of the thing. I'm like, where the hell did
The
he get that
the
from?
troll has the sword the whole time.
I never see it.
I never
it's
saw
on,
it
it's-
either.
It's on his belt.
I never noticed.
He's got a big head though. That head really does.
Yeah, I
draw
guess.
attention.
You don't pay attention to much
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, he's got the sword throughout the whole thing.
I remember watching it this time. I'm thinking like, man, I don't remember his head being that big. Like because his head is huge.
I never noticed before he's got 2 noses.
Yeah, I
Like I,
saw
thought
that.
it was. I thought it was like nostril. Like he just had 2 giant nostrils.
No, he had 2 noses.
It's 2 noses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Never
2
noticed.
noses. I didn't even notice that the first time, or like this was the first time I noticed that he had 2 noses.
Yeah, I like the line. How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips?
You notice the part where he backs up though. He says bonsai.
Yeah,
Just saying.
yeah. I was
saying.
gonna mention that too.
He was like bonsai, and then he backs over the troll.
So something that's kind of fun about this movie, but ever since Gage was little, like little, we've always called milk in my house Miak because of this movie.
Oh, Miak.
It's
Yeah.
always been Miak at my house. Jack's known milk as nothing but Miak his whole life.
So
He knows it's milk, but
back to that car scene,
Mm-hmm.
the part where the troll first shows up and he splats his face on the windshield.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
snot everywhere.
yeah.
I was like, that is fucking disgusting. I was like, and then he like turns on his windshield wiper or whatever, and just smears it. He turned on his windshield wiper, didn't he?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He just smeared it. I'm like, and then he knocks him off or whatever, and his snot is just still on the windshield.
You know what always bugged me too about this movie is like, how did it take everybody else so long to figure out that milk was the problem, or milk was the, like there were so many.
Signs.
I mean, like
Ernest kicks over that thing, and if there happened to be milk there, and it falls. You know what I mean? Like I understand Ernest not getting it because he's a little dense.
yeah, but like even I mean, just like I guess everybody in this fucking movie is dense, but
Well,
like,
because the kid saw the ice cream and pretty much right away went it was milk.
No, the kids are essentially the smartest ones in this movie.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the point.
That's the point. Yeah, you have somebody for the younger generation, the kids that relate to.
Yeah, I think it's the kid. The kids are supposed to be the heroes in this. Well, sort of. I mean, Ernest does save the day in the end, but they're supposed to be the sort of the heroes, I guess. But like, it kind of annoyed me that it took somebody so long to figure out that it's the milk, even as a kid. Like, even as a kid watching this, I remember.
You're like, it's the fucking milk!
Like, you're sitting there like, you know how, like, you used to watch kids, because we were kind of older when Blue's Clues came out, but you used to watch kids.
Kind of. I was a fucking adult, dude.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you remember watching kids watching Blue's Clues? I think I was an adult
when Blue's Clues was out.
I watch it with Aura.
Well, you remember, like, watching kids watching Blue's Clues? Yeah. And the kids would be screaming at the screen.
Yeah.
You know, they'd be like, it's
right there!
Yeah, you know, and like, that was me watching fucking this movie. Like, it's milk! Milk!
When I first saw it, I realized, it's milk right away.
And I want to know how this book is so old that there's just 2 pages stuck together. Nobody ever noticed.
Are there any more pictures?
Yeah, that's what he said. She's reading it. He's like, are there any more pictures? And I'm like, that is fucking great. I think I even wrote that down. Yeah, are there any more pictures?
Now, okay, and I get that the parents are like looking for their kids, right? I get that. How did they know to go to the tree?
Yeah, they don't really know about the tree until Ernest says something about the tree, don't they? Or the kids, like, tell them about the tree.
No, they all leave before the kids do.
Yeah.
Oh, I never...
Yep.
Because the kids go to the fucking, 7-Eleven and start,
getting
milk and stuff, and the parents are already there by the time the kids get there.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just think that sheriff was really incompetent, especially to let his gun get away from him. He's the worst sheriff
movies,
ever.
Though, the movies, like the Ernest movies, I think are just meant to be funny and outrageous. They're not really meant to look at.
I agree 100% with that.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's just kind of funny to talk about it though, because you don't really consider these things.
Yeah.
Like when they're like at the end when Hackmore says, she grabs the guy and she's like, Ernest doesn't understand. It's unconditional love. And she's like whispering it, right? And then all of a sudden Ernest knows what to do.
Yeah.
Like he's a mile away from her. He couldn't have possibly heard her.
It's almost like he's got a sixth sense for her.
There's no way he heard her.
Okay, I want to just say this one thing though. The part where they first discover the tree, they're like, hey, let's go this way. And then they see like this creepy vine entrance with fog, and they're like, this is neat. Bitch, you're like 10 years old. Ain't no 10-year-old looking at a foggy area of the woods with a bunch of creepy vines and saying, this is neat.
I know when I was 10, I liked to hang out at my grandma.
Let's get real, though. At 10 years old, you weren't doing that.
Yes, I was.
When I was young, one of my favorite places to hang out at my grandma's was my grandma had a whole section of her yard that was grapevines, and I loved it in there.
I was never a kid that was really scared of anything.
I wasn't afraid of much either, but in a movie though,
me and Trey made a.
Yeah,
they wouldn't say this is neat. They'd be like, "That's kind of creepy."
Yeah, I guess. I mean, from a movie perspective, sure, but I guess in real life, I would have been like, "Yep, this is the spot."
Well, yeah, because we know that monsters don't actually exist within our world.
Yeah, I guess.
But
that's one thing I really do when I watch a lot of movies. Is even though like I try to pick out stuff, but it's really weird when I watch movies because I do every movie is always made a different
you can suspend belief, right? Like for movies and stuff, which I can for this movie too. But like I don't understand like certain things, and it's okay to not understand it because I can suspend the belief. It's not going to affect how much I enjoyed the movie, But like again, like the whole unconditional love thing. Well, he showed that troll was not unconditional love.
No, he just kissed it.
He just swung it around a little bit and danced with it. And then
like it. Unconditional love is loving something to the point that you do not care what they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing, it doesn't matter.
I think what they're doing though is they're trying to make it look like unconditional love.
But that didn't even look like unconditional love.
Maybe the troll just had to feel like he was unconditionally loved.
Maybe
to a kid that does.
Because I guess
I think I'm gonna have to take the latter on this one and say that they had to just make the troll feel unconditionally loved because I think that's what it boiled down to.
I can buy that.
That's what would kill him.
Yeah, I can buy that.
It had to feel that.
Sure, I can buy that.
he had to exactly express it to or feel that way.
Sure, I can buy that. Yeah,
so-
I can buy that.
What I do to like space myself from movies, I always figure movies are made in a totally different world than what we really live in. That's always what I do.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Sure.
Totally different galaxy.
Yeah.
It's like a multiverse thing.
Sure.
Movies are always made in different
So
worlds.
I gotta go out and say, dude, this movie looked like the 90s.
It
You know
was
what
a
I
good
mean?
movie.
Like it looked like what I think of whenever I think back to my childhood in the early 90s. Like I'm thinking, like everything that these kids are wearing, their clothes, their hairstyles.
This is the first.
And I'm just thinking, like, God damn, this reminds me of whenever I was like 8, 9 years old, and it makes me fucking sick.
This movie.
Like, it makes me
Why?
sick because I hated the 90s were the ugliest era of all time. All the wood furniture and
Well,
like their
I mean,
stupid,
sure.
ugly fucking cushions and carpet and
I mean, yeah, I get you, but like,
the floor model televisions and
yeah,
it was terrible. It was
But
a
you
terrible time.
you don't
Nirvana, ugh,
Nirvana.
yeah. Green Day, dude, come on.
Lord have mercy.
I'm just saying, like, the best thing to come out of the 90s was probably Tom Petty. Tom Petty's a shit.
I mean, yeah, but like, you didn't like your childhood.
Slayer.
I mean,
Slayer was awesome.
You didn't like your childhood.
I mean, I enjoyed aspects of it,
Okay.
but not the clothes. I know that. They were fucking ugly.
Okay.
All them pastel colors and fucking, like, pinstripe shirts and polo shirts and...
When I think of my childhood, I'm not thinking about like what I was
Yeah,
wearing.
I'm not thinking about what I'm wearing at all. I was just like 90s, man.
I was
Kids.
just enjoying being a kid.
Me?
No, man, I think about all the bullshit, all the ugly-ass stuff.
Well, you
Matt,
got
I think we had a
Like
better
Sour
childhood.
Patch Kids.
Sour Patch Kids are awesome.
No.
Pogs.
Okay, Pogs were cool.
Pogs.
Pogs were cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
Remember the
Pogs
Pogs
were-
Bakers
yeah,
came
Yeah,
out?
all right, yeah. Pogs were badass.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Me
I
and Matt
love
made
Pogs.
Pogs out of everything.
You can't even say that though. Like Pogs are like timeless.
Yeah, fair enough.
So the
Yeah, I
Pogs
guess-
are awesome.
I guess that's true.
I remember I still see some Pog, like old school Pogs. I'm like, dude, I had that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or the
Still love one
slammers
that-
and shit.
Still love the one that's metal. Looks like a saw blade.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think Trey had that one. We kept
Yeah.
we kept trying to steal it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, because Trey always had that one. And I always
Trey always had
wanted
the
one.
coolest stuff.
Best part of the '90s, Super Nintendo, and Sega. I guess.
Yeah. That was good times.
All right, so if does anybody have any more notes they want to go over? Any last minute stuff? Let me.
I have no
stuff
more
here.
notes. I went over all of mine.
Yeah, I have no more notes at all either.
I will
This is
say
just
that
a-
I
is a
wrote this
great
down.
movie.
Whenever the troll finally does go out, and it like goes out with this like giant fucking whirlwind, and it just fart.
I didn't know.
That's
Like a little
exactly what
fart.
it fart.
It was like
I agree. That's exactly what
like
it
a
sounded
fart.
like. That's exactly what it
Like,
sounded like.
all
Yeah.
right, all them snotty, all that snot, and he goes out with a fart.
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
And I even wrote down the dad is the worst sheriff ever.
Yes. Yes, he is.
And oh, yeah,
I would agree.
My favorite part of the whole movie, and they show it twice, is he never knew when to quit.
Yes.
The second time he did that thing,
Oh, I know. Well, both times because I knew it was coming.
Well, the
The
first
second
time she
time I
did
didn't-
it and like slapped him upside the head, he's like, "Oh," and I was like, "Dude, that's fucking hilarious." And then they show it again. I was like, "Dude, twice is better." Like, yes, thank you. So I love that was probably my favorite part. He never knew when to quit. So I gotta say,
I agree with you. Twice was better.
Twice was better because the first time you're like, "That was funny," but the second time it's like, "All right, it's a good callback." You know what I mean? Like,
He never knew when to
he
quit.
never knew when to quit.
That's great.
That's all I got though. So
that's why I think I like that.
Music break.
yeah, sorry. This is what do they call those videos where or the things that people are into nowadays? The ASMR
Yeah.
videos where like they're making noises.
Oh yeah, like
Um,
you have a career.
I don't
in
have a
that.
career.
No.
the
You don't think I'm gonna make any money doing that? Come on, man. I was gonna get an OnlyFans.
That was the only thing.
I was gonna fart into the microphone.
that Dr. Otto movie, I think the reason I liked it so much is because it put Jim Varney in an evil genius role.
which is hilarious.
Yeah, hilarious because you know he'd pull it off.
Oh yeah,
he
you know he did. You know he did.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that maybe we should go into sorry.
Here we go.
Making a career. Sorry.
Making a career out of it.
They're in Grimcuddy, that girl, the main girl, she does that stuff.
Does she?
ASMR.
That reminds me of Bodies. Whenever she was like, she
I
said,
still need to
I
watch
do podcast.
that.
She's like, it's a podcast. I have to have a Google Calendar. It's a lot of work. I'm like,
my
okay.
God.
And then I was listening to the Dead Meat podcast,
Yeah.
and they were talking about bodies, and she's like, and I almost sympathize with her because it is a lot of work. And I'm thinking, dude, you guys do a 1 hour episode every 2 weeks. Like, what are you talking about? Like Google calendars and shit. Like, it's just the three of us.
I'm
We get
thinking,
together.
like, how the hell do we do it then? Because, like,
Yeah.
we all have full-time jobs.
Yeah, these guys don't even have
families.
kids or nothing. You
Like,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
like we have full-time jobs, families, houses, suppers, cleaning the houses,
yeah, and
laundry.
and let's face it, there's not a
get
lot
two
of work
jobs,
that goes into this other than watch the movie, take notes on it, come talk about it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot more
I
than
mean,
that.
and it's kind of a labor of love because, I mean, like, I will make time to watch at least a movie a week. I mean, so
right.
taking notes on
Well,
a
not to
movie
mention,
a
like,
week,
yeah, I understand we're still in our infancy because we haven't, like,
Sure.
done
We'll
our
blow up.
Patreon stuff and stuff
we'll
like
blow
that.
up. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't
It's
worry.
it's
We'll be
gonna
out there.
happen.
We'll be out there.
I'm sorry, but sometimes I'm like, I really don't want to watch this movie.
Oh, I feel that way about a lot of movies. Like, I didn't really want to.
I've never felt that way about any of the movies we've picked so far.
I didn't want to watch Ernest Scared Stupid because I've seen it so many times.
And because your brain dead.
No, well, the reason why I was okay with watching it was because Madison and Crystal really wanted to watch it, and your One Cut of the Dead, I really didn't want to watch that, and by the end of it, I really didn't want to watch it again.
I get it.
I really, really did not want to watch The Watch.
That's
Because
fine.
I knew it was because I knew that I've already watched it once and I didn't like it then.
That's all right. You'll like.
I mean,
my-
the closest I can say I could come would be Ernest, but it's only because I've seen it so many times.
Right.
But
I was the same way with Hocus
The-
Pocus though too, man.
here's the reason I
Especially the second one and watching it twice. Oh my, that was worse than One Cut of the Dead. I'll
maybe
be honest
this will
with you.
help. The reason I don't mind it is because of this.
Right, exactly.
I really like
Yeah.
doing this. So
Yeah, this is one
this
of the only
doesn't bother. It doesn't bother me to spend an hour and a half
That's
out
how
of my
I
day.
am.
Like
I'm like,
to
it doesn't matter.
take
It's
the
for the
notes and-
podcast, and I
yeah.
love doing the podcast.
Well, most of my time it's just I don't want to watch a movie right now.
I usually make
And
time.
also, I don't like having a deadline for anything.
Oh well, you got a whole week though, man. That's how I see it. Like, I got a whole week.
And yeah, sometimes I'll watch it, but there's also like my thing is really I think it's just the deadlines. I don't
so
deadlines.
like scheduled. Like I couldn't watch Ernest on Saturday because I wasn't home.
That's how I am,
at
though.
all on
That's how I
Saturday,
am.
and so like watching it on Sunday was like way out of my element. Like I was like,
I normally watch it either Monday or Tuesday. I'll watch the movie either Monday or Tuesday, so it's still fresh in my mind, and I've got the notes.
I watched Saturday, ran my
Yeah.
notes.
So normally I watch it Tuesday night, but this week I watched it Monday.
Usually I'll watch it Tuesday night, unless it's something like Ernest Scared Stupid, which I really wanted to watch. So,
But like every other movie I've watched Tuesday, except for the Hocus Pocus, which I ended up rewatching both of them anyway the Tuesday before.
I usually don't have time during the week to watch a movie.
Oh, I
so-
do. I always make time at the end of the night to try to chill out and unwind and relax.
Yeah, I don't usually have time during the week.
So whether it's watching a show or watching a movie or something like that. But
I can make the time, but I usually don't have the time.
so anyway, we're gonna jump into our reviews here. Let's go ahead and get everybody's reviews first. Matt, what would you give Ernest Scared Stupid, and would you rewatch?
well, what would I rewatch? Yeah,
Obviously,
and I gave it a 9.
a 9. You gave this movie a fucking 9. Matt, you're making me grow ever more frustrated with you.
Why?
And what you think a good movie is, man. Like, don't get me wrong, man. It's got nostalgia. But give me your reason. Give me your reason.
It's just a great movie. Everything's there's so many great lines. it's just laugh. It's a good wholesome movie. There's not a whole well every season's.
What?
I like the fact that there's not a lot of bad language and violence and stuff. This is why I'm really not fit for this podcast.
There's just no cussing, and we're like, yeah, more gore.
Yeah.
Rip his fucking head off. Like,
Rip his fucking head off.
Yeah, I'm really not in the right podcast. But yeah, I just like the fact it's a good, funny movie, and the fact that the things were, I'm sorry, to a couple kids would probably be quite a bit scary to some of them. I can see it being creepy, and I just really like the movie. It brings me back to a simpler time. Like the first time I seen Ernest Scared Stupid, I was with my grandma. Man, okay, my grandma introduced me to Jim Varney. And I loved him ever since.
Right.
That was a thing me and my grandma
so
had.
a lot of this movie is nostalgia for you.
Yeah.
So okay, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
That's a huge, big. That's especially huge right now.
Yeah.
For people,
Well,
so.
and I mean, a lot of for adults, especially, because there's not a lot of, I guess.
There's not a lot of good things to look forward to right now.
Well, yeah, and as an adult, there's a lot of times that, sometimes that's what you need. You need to.
I'll be honest with you. Do you want my perspective on nostalgia right now and why it's so huge? I think it's because
Everything sucks.
I think it's because things are overcomplicated. Everything is so overcomplicated now today, and like with technology and all these social medias,
Everything just wants to seem
and everything is,
simpler.
you just want to be reminded of when things were a lot simpler, a lot easier.
Sure.
So like today, like just for instance, take video games for instance. Like everything is online, everything is complicated. Video games are complicated. There's this, that, download this, pay more for this, do that.
You can't just buy a video
You
game.
can't
go
just
home
buy
and
a
play
video
it.
game, take it home. There's nothing extra about it. What you get is what you get on that cartridge. You pop it in your Super Nintendo and you fucking play it.
Yeah.
You just play the game.
Yeah.
There's nothing overcomplicated about it. You just play the game.
Yeah.
You and your buddy, 2 controllers. No online bullshit, nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing but simplicity. But
Our
now,
generation longs for that simplicity.
we want to go back to what was easier and simpler. And
Sure.
it may make us sound stupid, but really doesn't make us sound stupid or less stressed out.
Exactly.
These things stress us out.
I think that's what it is that there's so many things that's so stressful anymore because, we are not living in the world that our parents did.
Exactly. We're not living in the world we grew up in.
No.
No.
And the world that existed for our parents and for their parents doesn't exist anymore. And so we're trying to field a world that our parents can't help us with.
Right.
We're trying to raise our children in a world.
I say something to my mom about like, oh yeah, this and that, and she's like, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Right.
Like like my stepdad barely knows how to text. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
My
I
mom
mean,
don't know how to text.
yeah.
like my mom's great with technology. She's actually pretty good with technology and stuff like that. But like, I'll mention something to her, and I can't think of a good example, but I'll talk to her about something, and I'll say something about dealing with something with the kids or whatever. And she's like, I wish I could give you some advice, but that's not something I'll
be honest with you. Well, as much as like your Gen Xers talk shit about your millennials,
Yeah.
we millennials, man, I was like, don't get me wrong, I don't like to be
How
considered
many
a
times
millennial.
have we gone
but
through a financial crisis?
well,
How
yeah.
many times have we, our generation has gone through so much shit.
Well, you got to think our generation it's changed so rapidly over just the course of like the past 15 years.
Yeah.
If you think about it, whenever we were in high school, we didn't have cell phones. It wasn't a common thing to have a cell phone.
The first cell phone I had was when I was 17.
I was 16.
And it was
I
a
paid
Nokia.
for it. I paid
for
I had
it
a
myself.
Motorola and I'd pay for it myself, and it had an antenna as long as my arm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had to pull that fucking
That thing was
antenna
a brick.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that wasn't common. And that shit
And
was
just
expensive.
a couple of years later was the flip phones.
Yeah, then you get
and
the
they
flip
were
phones.
so thin. I mean, and just a couple of years later, you had the first smartphones.
Yeah,
And
then
just
you had
I
your
mean,
texting and stuff, and
yeah.
that was huge to just be able to send a
Yeah,
message.
you're right. I mean, things change so quickly for us rapidly, and like
Yeah.
it's. I think it is. I think you're right. I think you're onto something there. Is that we kind of long for a simplicity because things, for us, have kind of really just sucked most of our adult lives.
It has. It's been hard. Things change too fast. Things are getting far more expensive than they used to be.
Well, think about how many people in our generation can't afford to have kids. They can't afford to buy a house. They can't afford, like there's all of these like, things where it's like, oh, millennials prefer not to buy diamond rings. No, it's because they can't fucking afford them.
We can't afford them.
That millennials prefer.
Millennials also don't see. I think as a millennial, myself, I don't like to admit that I'm a millennial, but it is what it is.
We're right on that.
We bridge. We're on the edge of that.
Yeah.
But like as a millennial or whatever, at my age, I look at it like, what is the point of buying this big fucking rock? Why do I need to spend all this money on something? Like that all seems very pretentious to me.
Sure. No, I brought that up because that was one that I just read like a few weeks ago or whatever, where somebody had written this article and it said like millennials don't buy diamond rings or something like that.
Right.
And somebody responded and said, millennials can't afford diamond rings. There, I fixed your title.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Well, see,
you know what I mean?
Also, there are a lot of us that won't
They're
buy
expensive.
them because they're
Yeah, I mean,
especially
like
nowadays. Look at the housing market, dude.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was going.
You want to buy a house or
or
do you want to buy a fucking ring? Like,
well, or do you want to pay? Or do you want to buy food? I mean, like you want to buy medicine. Do you want to? You can't. I mean, it's
there are enough diamonds in the world to give everybody a cup full of diamonds.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah.
And it's De Beers who made the rules. There is no reason a diamond needs to cost as much as this.
For sure.
There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, millions of diamonds.
It's literally a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
and I will never get anybody a diamond. You're not going to get
all
a diamond
I'm saying,
from me.
that was just an example. All I'm saying is that there's so many things in our generation that they make these things that in the news. They can't. They
can't do this. It's like because we don't see the fucking point.
Our population's going down drastically because they refuse to have kids.
Yeah.
We don't refuse. We can't afford them.
Like I'm sorry. Like my grandma had 7 children.
Yeah.
I have 3.
I have 2.
I don't need to have more than that. Like they're expensive, dude, and I work my ass off. I bring in close to $100,000 a year. And my wife brings in money too, and it's still hard.
I have 2 children. I would have only had 1, but like, we had to.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's how I am. I'm like, after the first one, I'm like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And then I had a couple more. I'm like, fuck, you guys are expensive.
Well, we didn't think we could have a second one.
Oh, yeah.
I hate it when people say, "Oh, we planned for this one." No, you didn't.
Oh, that's true. That's not true. My buddy Dan is trying.
Well,
if you have time to plan for a kid, then you're weird.
No, we wanted Jack.
Yeah.
We wanted him.
Yeah.
We just didn't think he was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. But hey, you know what, man? But you know what, though? You fucking Gen Xers can sit back and talk about how you sat back with your dad and drank a beer and talked about just your work day and this and that. Bitch, that's because you had the time. We don't have the time anymore.
No. It's all hustle.
It's all hustle all the time. I'm always busy. My wife is always busy. We're always doing something. We pay attention to our kids. You Gen Xers didn't. Suck a dick. Y'all just sat back and let your kids do whatever the fuck they wanted. Run around and act like assholes. That's why half of them are fucked up on drugs or alcoholics or whatever.
My mom loved me.
Yeah, my mom let me run around and shit and do this and that. But you know what I mean?
My mom
but that's neither here nor there. I don't know how the fuck we got on this conversation. We're talking about Ernest.
Oh, yeah.
My mom loved me. She let me run around.
Oh, my parents
loved
me. My parents definitely love me. Hell, my stepdad just told me the other day that he loved me. I'm like, that's weird. But okay.
Roger said that he loved
you.
But
wow. You understand, dude, the L word doesn't get thrown around a lot in my family.
He's getting old. He's trying to get into heaven now.
Yeah.
That's what I tell my mom.
Trying to get into heaven.
He
doesn't believe in that shit either.
No,
he doesn't believe in heaven.
When my mom and my kids are hanging out and my kids say something about, my mom being so sweet and say, they love grandma and she's just the best. And I'm like, that's not the same woman who raised me.
My stepdad,
my mom does.
Yeah, my stepdad, he goes, I love you, right? And I was like, I love you too. Like, I said it like a robot, like, 'cause I didn't know how to say it.
I tell my kids that. I'm like, that's not the same woman who raised me.
No,
I just want you to know that woman's trying to get into heaven now.
No, my mom hated my grandma. The way my grandma raised her was horrible. But my grandma never treated me or Tyler or anybody like that.
I give my mom shit. Like, my mom was a wonderful mother. She was great. Yeah. But, she was strict.
Yeah,
my mom was mean.
My kids will be like, oh, no, this peanut butter sandwich isn't cut right. And she'll be like, oh, let me throw this away and make you a new one. The fuck?
Not my mom.
that's
My mom would be
grandma's.
like, "You're gonna eat that shit, or I'm gonna shove it down your throat."
I exaggerate, but I mean, there's that.
Yeah, my mom was actually abused by her mother, which was my grandmother, and my grandma treated me a lot better, and my mom liked the fact that. But my mom still talks horrible about my grandma, and it makes me feel bad because I seen a different person.
Sure.
Okay, I think we're getting too in depth with this stuff.
Okay.
We're supposed to be talking about movies. We're talking about personal shit.
Sorry.
Anyway, so a little bit about us there. Welcome to the family.
Sorry for the therapy.
Yeah. And one of these days, I'm just going to go on Twitter and post a picture of my balls. Then you're really going to know everything about me. There it is.
Hanging brain
My
on
last
Twitter.
secret. My last secret. They're not even in my pants. They're actually in Crystal's purse.
Just gonna go out there and hang brain on Twitter now.
All right. So we're going to get back into our reviews. So Matt gave it a 9 out of 10.
That's huge.
That is huge. That's like almost perfect. Karen,
I'm sorry, I really just love the movie. It's a good movie.
why don't you give us your explanation? Talk about why you're going to give it this, and then tell us what it is.
Okay.
I like doing it that way. I think it sounds more fun. It leaves us open for anticipation.
Okay. I mean, this was a movie I watched when I was a kid. Watched it a few thousand times when I was a kid. I was excited to buy it. I bought it specifically for me and Gage to watch when he was, I don't know, 5 or 6, 7. I don't know, whatever.
I seen it in like a 3-box set. That's why I got it.
Yeah, I think that's where we bought it too. It's the same thing. So, Gage and I watched it, and then I hadn't watched it again until me and Jack watched it a few months ago. And then this time again. And it's not that I hate it. I've never been a huge fan of Ernest movies. Like I said, I've only seen 3. And this was the one that I watched.
I've only seen like 4 of them.
Yeah, I've seen Jail, this one, and
I've seen Jail, Christmas, this one,
I've never seen
and
the
I think
Christmas
Camp.
I think you're probably going
Camp.
thinking Ernest Goes to
think
Camp
Camp.
because that's like one of the big ones too.
I
is
think
Ernest Goes to
Camp.
Camp.
I think it's Camp. Anyway, I've seen 3. I know I've seen 3. But this was the one I've seen more than once. And Jail, maybe I've seen a couple of times, but this was
Because Jail's the one where he's got like almost the twin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen that
And he goes to like for some odd reason there's I don't know. There's something where they're going through a jail and the guy had a twin basically.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But this was the one that I seen the most, just because it was scary, right? It's just it was
Kid scary.
It was creepy.
Yeah.
There was,
It was hocus pocus creepy.
well, it was horror themed, right? And that's what I was into. So I watched it a few times. I thought it was funny as a kid. Thought it was funny. Watched it with my kids. Still think it's funny now. Great one-liners, things like that. The plot has some holes, but
several holes.
But again, you don't
Very
catch,
large holes.
You don't catch that when you're a kid.
No, I guess not.
So that doesn't really,
You gotta kind of think Ernest was a demographic for kids. It was the kids.
90s kids too.
Yeah, 90s kids. And a lot of 90s movies had that. And a lot of 90s kids movies.
They didn't care as much about the writing, the plots. And
Well,
stuff
yeah,
like that
90s
back then,
kids movies a lot of them have plot holes like that. But
They didn't have the internet to critique it to
True.
death.
So, again, you've got the nostalgia thing. It's not a terrible movie, but again, I guess for me, it's that I was never a huge Ernest fan. I guess
same here,
So but again, I'm not doubting the movie. I like the movie. I've always liked the movie. So I really have a hard time though rating it because I can't go too high because it's not great,
Yeah, right.
but it's not
fucking
it's
terrible.
not terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go 6.5.
Okay. All
Sorry, Matt.
That's really low.
That's really low.
For this movie, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not gonna like yours either. But hey, it's your guys.
Well, the movie itself, was it's like you, dude. It's nostalgia, man. I remember seeing it when I was a kid.
And I don't have many movies that do that.
My own daughter was like, "Dad, we got to watch this movie," because
I really wanted to go 7. I just couldn't.
right. And I agree.
I
it's
wanted
okay.
to go that high. I just can't.
Yeah. but like I said, the creature design is cool. They did a really good job with it. The practical effects. I'm a practical effects guy.
Me too.
That right there will get a
like
bump
that
for me.
stuff.
Practical effects are way much better than.
Oh, for sure, dude. I
For
love
sure,
practical effects.
for sure.
And you guys will notice that whenever it comes to my.
You know what?
Top
I'm
five.
going 7 for the practical effects. I'm gonna change.
You're going 7? Okay, because the practical effects were really good. Like the troll itself, and all of the trolls really look good. Like I said, the little pods.
And why is that?
Because of the fucking monster or the creature place or whatever.
Chiodo Brothers.
Chiodo
you
Brothers.
Sons of bitches.
Sorry.
But other than that, yeah, there's a lot of plot holes here. Ernest is always awesome to see on screen because he's just a funny dude. Jim Varney is fucking. He's
Great.
Yeah, he's timeless.
The faces and stuff he makes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The all of those characters.
Yeah,
the
they're all
impressions.
great.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I you know, the kid, even the kid actors in this, they're not. They're your basic '90s kids actors.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? They definitely are reading off a cue card.
Awful.
You know what I mean?
Awful.
So, yeah. But other than that, I mean, I don't know, man. I think for me, I'm gonna have to fall at a. I was gonna do a 6, but I'll give it a 6.5 because of the creature effects. Like that's the biggest thing for me. And like I said, whenever we do our top 5 horror movies, you're gonna notice that with my top 5. Because I love creature and practical effects and stuff. I love old school horror movies.
I watched that movie, the Predator movie, Hunt.
Prey.
Yeah, I like the fact that in that one that the alien was all practical effects.
They're always practical.
Yeah, I like that.
They stick with that.
Which
I like.
Yeah.
That's what I like about the Predator movies.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going with a 6.5 on that, which I think that's pretty fair on my part because I wasn't really looking forward to this movie. I've seen it 100,000 times, and it's not something that's really on my watch list, especially I know it's a Halloween movie, but it's not something that I go out of my way to watch every Halloween. So, but I'll give it a 6.5, and honestly, that's a decent score coming for me for this because I'm not a big kids movie fan or anything like that. I don't like kids movies, and yeah. So, but my kids
wanted to go 7 for nostalgia factor. But then when you were talking about the creature effects, I'm like, okay.
You have to give it a bump for that.
I tip the scales.
Yeah, you got to give it a bump for that. You got to bump it up for the creature effects because they really are fantastic.
They are.
So I'll give it a 6.5 for that. Okay, so let's get into some reviews here from the intranet.
I'm gonna get PO'd if anybody says anything bad about Jim Varney.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing about the internet that maybe nobody's explained to you.
The people suck.
Yeah. And you kind of just have to not let it get to you.
You'd be surprised how much stuff I don't let get to me, Karen.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there. You're going to have a heart attack if you keep letting that kind of stuff get to you. The internet's a terrible place.
I don't let things get to me that much. I'm just saying.
I just want you to know this. I'm trying to save your life.
You don't have to do that.
I just want to.
Alrighty, so we're gonna do Metacritic this week for our scores.
This is the 10. I always get
the
confused.
user ratings are 1 out of 10. So that's
The
okay.
user ratings are weird.
No, they're
The
not.
way they do it.
They do it the same way we do.
Yeah,
the user
but
reviews.
It's weird when they put them all together. It's weird.
But the critics are out at 100.
Yeah, out of 100.
That's what I think is weird, is that they do it 2 different
That
ways.
is weird that they do it 2 different ways.
That's the part that I think
I don't
weird.
understand that either, but I'll go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of changes it up a little bit.
I get confused. It's the confusion because they do one way and one the other.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we'll go with the critic reviews first. There are only 5 reviews. And there's only 5 ratings even from the that's it though. Hold on a second. Let me check the Rotten Tomatoes to see if there's more.
Rotten Tomatoes always seems to have more than other ones.
Rotten Tomatoes is a bigger thing, so let's check Rotten Tomatoes.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes keeps popping up on my queue.
I haven't seen that in years.
I watched a little bit of it and I just couldn't. It was.
You ever watch the original?
Well, see, that thing, it was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes 2, and I'm like, I haven't seen one.
It's way different.
Well,
and
there's
it's-
a remake. There's a remake,
I'm gonna-
and there's
I'm gonna
the original
stick-
too.
I'll tell you
I
what,
remember having
we'll go ahead and go with
toys when I
Rotten
was a
Tomatoes this week because
You ever
it's-
watch a cartoon? There's a cartoon.
Yeah, I remember the cartoon.
Sorry.
We'll
I don't
stick
remember the
we'll stick
cartoon
with
as much,
Rotten
but-
Tomatoes this week because
But I remember the
there's only 6 critic reviews, but there's 25,000 plus audience reviews.
Oh, okay. So a little bit more.
So we'll go with that. All right, so let's do the audience or the critic review first. If you guys want to give it a guess on what they think.
I forget how they do theirs.
It's out of a percentage, 1 out of 100.
Oh.
I want to say they at least 50.
50% critic.
Critic,
Yeah,
I'm going
maybe.
65.
You think that the critics gave Ernest Scared Stupid a 65%?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 45. Around 45.
Okay, well, Matt's definitely going to take this one. It's only 17%.
17? That
17%.
low? Oh, I
Yeah,
wouldn't have
oh,
thought
yeah,
that
for sure.
low. God.
Sure, yeah. So if we would have went with Metacritic,
It's
you
a
actually
fucking kids movie.
you actually would have been way closer because it's actually 38%
Well,
on
They
there.
need to take their tampon out of their
The
ass.
thing that-
Jesus,
the
it's a
thing
fucking
that
kids movie.
stinks now, though, is they're rating a movie from so way back now. So they're putting it in today's standards, and that's what's wrong with it. Like,
It's a
it's not
kids movie.
it's not today's standards. You need to go back to where, yeah, it's a kids movie, man.
Okay.
But also, yeah, they're putting their standards too high. They're not doing it in the right
Some of these,
time.
a lot of these critics don't even say anything. They just rated it and didn't
It's
say
bad.
anything.
Yeah, so
Why?
so their opinions don't.
Well,
even
one of
matter
them said,
because-
"How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips?" That's what he said. That,
that-
was his review.
That's,
And then another one said, "In a perfect world, the
But
kids."
then that should be like 100%. the
Yeah,
Booger
well,
Lips part. I mean,
he said, "In a perfect world, the kids from the Monster Squad would have teamed up with Ernest to battle the trolls. Now that would be a fun movie."
hey, did you guys think that the main kid kind of looked like a younger version of Mikey from Monster Squad?
I don't remember Mikey from. I haven't seen Monster Squad in forever.
Yeah, I think from
I
what
couldn't
can
place
remember,
any
he did look a
faces in
little
that
bit-
movie.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, they had a little bit of the same
Yeah.
look. Yeah,
It's not him though.
I didn't think it was.
Obviously,
Just so you know.
When was Monster Squad made?
Nah, I don't know. I don't remember. Oh
I
look,
figured you would know.
not off the top of my
definitely
head.
the '90s. I think early
I
'90s.
figured maybe 80s.
Yeah, I think it's the 80s.
Is it '80s? Really?
I think so.
Maybe it was
The style that they dress and stuff just reminds me.
87.
of 80s.
'87. Okay,
So
so
late
it's actually
80s.
older than this movie.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So your audience score. What do you out of 25,000?
I'm staying at
ratings,
65.
65. What do you got, Matt?
These people who judge
These
these movies
people.
are dumb.
These fucking
These
people.
fucking people.
So I'm gonna say that they gave it. I'm gonna say that at least 70. That's gonna at least 70 something. Please.
50%. So Karen's going to take this one.
That's one. I got one.
So I don't know, man. That makes about sense to me. That's probably what I would have guessed. Honestly,
I mean, yeah.
a 50%. I think that people would have been divided.
I think it's a little low, but
Okay, here's one for you for the ages. This is back in 2014, before people were offended by everything. It says, few movies are brave enough to put stupid in their title, but Ernest Scared Stupid has no illusions about what it is. Clearly meant for children, and only children. The comedy is incredibly juvenile and slapstickish, and the
It's
acting
a slapstick movie.
exactly.
it's a
yeah.
kids movie. They literally just said it in their
And this is a
fucking
1-star review.
Wow.
The comedy is incredibly juvenile and slapstickish, and the acting, if it can be called that, is horrendous. The sets, costumes, and special effects are also terrible.
Take
Fuck
it back, you son
buddy.
of a bitch.
Fuck you, man. I thought the special effects were great especially for the budget. This movie was only made on I want to say $3.6 million.
I didn't look at the budget on this one.
or maybe it was 9. I don't remember. I think it was 9 million. I think it was made for $9 million.
Yeah, which is like a pittance compared to what
Yeah,
people
it ain't
make
shit.
movie.
Like you
Yeah.
got Marvel movies out there being made for like $300 or $400 million, and
And they're horrible.
yeah. So, lacking the charm and fun of the earlier films, Ernest Scared Stupid is complete garbage.
You're garbage.
All right, buddy, you're just a fucking stick in the mud.
See these people, man.
I'm telling you, yeah. So, that's that. You know what I mean?
That's that.
That's that.
Fuck them.
Obviously, they're not going to like this movie. This movie's old, for one. People don't tend to, especially older, like, kids' movies and older, more nostalgic movies, people are pretty harsh on. Like, and I don't appreciate that because some people have their likes and dislikes.
You know what is
Yeah,
also is these people want to see like they're smart and mature and all this, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
dude, you need to sit back, watch the movie, and laugh when somebody makes a fart noise. I mean, come on.
right.
But wait, you hated the watch because of there was too much.
I didn't like
Dick and fart jokes.
no, okay, yeah, fart. I didn't say I don't like. I didn't like the watch mainly because it was trying to be edgy.
Oh.
I don't like that. I don't like that word edgy.
I don't like comedy.
edgy.
Edgy says that it's trying to overcome certain boundaries. The watch was not trying to do that. The watch was trying to be this stupid fucking movie that just made you laugh and got a little gross and over the top a little
and
bit.
Did a horrible job of it.
I thought it did great.
I didn't laugh.
We've already
at all.
hashed this out.
Yeah,
I just had to go there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to open old
But
wounds.
no, I like comedy that's funny because it's just funny, and yeah, sometimes farts are like, come on, but farts.
No,
are
farts are always.
I want
funny.
to just put this out there, dude. I don't know. Have
100%.
you guys seen that Pee Wee Herman movie that's on Netflix? It came out fucking years ago.
Yes,
No.
and
So,
I did watch it.
My
yes.
favorite part of that whole movie is whenever he's with the Amish, and they're like, "What do you do for fun?" And he's just like looks at him, and next thing you know, he's got this giant balloon, and he blows it up, and he just slowly lets the air out while making noise. And this goes on for like ever.
I haven't seen
And
that
it is
movie.
the funniest fucking part of that whole movie. Just saying, stupid comedy has its place, dude.
Yeah,
Because I was losing it.
absolutely.
I was fucking losing
You know-
it at that part.
Well, like Dumb and Dumber 2, the whole movie sucks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Except there's two parts in that movie that I lost my shit and was laughing till I had tears streaming down my face. And the one is where he had that candy bar in his back pocket at Bob Saget's house.
Oh, that wasn't
And
that wasn't two. That was
Or no, the prequel. The prequel,
prequel, yeah.
sorry.
When-
And he
when
smears
Harry
it-
met
he
Lloyd.
smears it all over the freaking
like-
walls. And Bob
There's
Saget is
like
like,
shit-
shit
everywhere.
everywhere.
There's shit on my
Shit on the walls. There's shit everywhere.
He was freaking the fuck out.
And then he's like walking across the street, and Bob Saget hits him with the car, and he's got like something in his back pocket, and it explodes, and it looks like poop.
Yeah.
I haven't seen these
And Bob
movies.
Saget's like, he shit on my car. Yeah, that's hilarious.
See, man, dick and fart jokes, man.
Yeah.
That shit
They're
has its
always
place.
funny.
Oh, anyway. So let's move on to some trivia. Let's get some trivia in here.
Okay.
Okay.
First one I have is that the pizzas we talked about that we're seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That were being thrown. The Murdochs in the treehouse were reused props from Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yep.
Turtles 2.
Yep.
The
And
Secret
if
of the
anybody knows
Ooze.
anything about me, I am a huge TMNT fan. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I grew up on them. That is nostalgia for me, baby.
I was so excited to tell you about that one too.
I know. I knew it already. I was like, because I was talking about the pizzas and I was like scrolling through IMDb and I'm like, it was one of the trivia things on IMDb. I was like, that's cool.
Oh, was it on there?
Yeah.
So, like, did you know though that both of the movies had the same prop master?
Did they? See, I didn't know that.
That's why they went and
That would
used
make
the same
sense,
prop. Is Doug White was the
Yeah.
prop master. Daniel Butler, who was the sheriff, you know, the guy you loved so much. He wanted his character to have a mustache,
He would have been funnier
but Disney told him that he couldn't have one
because it made you look like a child molester.
because it made him look. Can anyone guess?
Canadian.
Nope.
Let me think.
Think old Disney.
Racist.
No.
You're close.
Old Disney?
You're very close.
Racist. That doesn't-
Song of the South?
It made
You
him
said
look
racist.
It made him look.
You said racist in Disney.
All right. It
Like
made
Walt
him look-
Disney? He
Too
was
white.
racist.
Too white.
You're so close.
Too white.
It made him look too Hispanic.
That's kind of racist.
I guess he was a little bit darker complected, but
But considering what they do now,
Yeah.
like you would think that they would wanted that. Add a little flavor.
A little flavor to the soup, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but no, they told him he couldn't do it because it made him look too Hispanic.
I'd have been okay with that. I think it would have made it funnier.
Yeah. Eartha Kitt auditioned for this role, or for the role of Old Lady Hackmore in this film, and later the same casting director was working on The Emperor's New Groove, and she would voice Yzma as a favor to him for doing this role. Because she wanted this role. She didn't necessarily want Yzma.
And which one
Which
was
is
bigger?
weird because I love Emperor's New Groove.
I was gonna say, Emperor's
and Yzma is hilarious.
Emperor's New
it's
Groove
great.
is a much bigger movie,
Yeah,
too.
and it's... I mean, oh man, that movie's
Greg,
great.
pull the lever. Wrong lever.
Oh god, that movie. So most people believe that there was a reason for the Ernest films for this film's low box office numbers was because it was too scary. Even John Cherry, the director, agreed that in hindsight, Trantor's design and the thought of him stealing the souls of children was probably too disturbing. I don't know. This was always my favorite Ernest film. So
Yeah, but we grew up in a different
maybe
kinda...
this, I don't know.
I grew
maybe,
up watching Child's Play, man. So
yeah, my mom
and
called
Freddy.
The Exorcist the babysitter.
So yeah, so like
wanted to
most
clean the
normal,
house,
but most
pop
normal
that in.
kids, they're not watching this. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
so I guess there's something probably
Did
wrong
you guys
with
hear
me.
the story? Now there's it was on the news yesterday. There's this little girl whose mom took her to a Halloween shop, and she picked out this scary doll
That would have been me.
that like looks like it has his face all cracked up and stuff.
Yeah.
And this little girl who's like 2 carries this doll everywhere.
Yeah,
that was like Madison, dude. Her
Yeah.
favorite doll was a zombie.
yeah, that would have been me.
So I mean, it's just all about how you raise your kids, man. Do you want them into that shit?
And the mom was even doing a thing where she's like, "This is creepy," what it says, but like this girl went to like Walt Disney and they took her around. And, like she got special treatment because she was just so into
dude,
this
do you
doll.
remember when Madison had that zombie doll?
No.
And the thing was falling apart. She called it Zed. It was
I
Zed
do-
the
I
zombie.
remember that.
Zed the zombie. She carried around because it wasn't made out of actual out of like cloth. It was made out of like some kind of rubbery material, and the fucker started like literally deteriorating from just being worn out.
When we went to Comic-Con and met Robert Englund, there was a little girl there, and we were in line for our autographs and stuff, and this little girl must not have had like tickets to get autographs and stuff, but she was standing kind of like off to the side in line, and she had, you know, one of those 80s Freddy's dolls, like the one I posted a picture of Facebook, the one that I bought, but you know, the one that had like the cord and he would talk.
Oh yeah.
And she was standing there. She just kind of was like holding it and was just watching. You know, you could tell that she didn't have like a ticket or anything. She was just like standing over there and watching. And I don't know if like, I was terrified to meet Robert because I was scared that he was going to be like an asshole.
Oh, he's
But
actually
look,
sweetheart.
he is the
I've
oh
heard
my
he's really
God.
nice.
He's a really
He
he's a big
is
sweetheart.
the best. Oh, he is just the best.
He
But
does-
anyway,
you know he does tattoos.
Does he really?
that doesn't surprise me.
He has a glove that has tattoo needles.
Really?
Oh.
That's
And
awesome.
I've seen he's done a lot of signatures and Freddy tattoos.
But anyway, before he came out to do the signatures and stuff, and when he walked out, he kind of saw this little girl standing off to the side. She couldn't have been more than 6, and he walks out and he sits down, and you could tell he was kind of like the wheels were turning, and then he stands up and he goes, "You guys don't mind, right? If like I take 5 minutes here?" And everybody was like, "Okay, do your thing, right?" He opens the thing, he's like, "Come here." And the little girl walks in, and he's like, "I have to, you know, make sure that the younger crowd is just as demented as we are, right?"
Yeah.
So, like, you know, he brings her in, he takes a picture with her, he signs the doll. Like, I mean, what? I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on.
She's gonna go home with stories like, yeah.
Oh my God.
You know,
If
I
that
met
had been
Robert
me at
England.
6,
This is the doll. You know
dude,
what I mean?
if that had been me at 6, I would have fainted. I would have been dead.
I've known who Robert Englund is since I was probably 6.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I've,
You know what I mean?
I've watched certain movies because, and whenever he pops up in like a movie, I'm like, that's Robert Englund.
Yeah. That's
Oh
how
yeah. Love him.
I spot him everywhere. I see
yeah.
him somewhere. I'm like, that's Robert Englund.
Oh yeah. He's hard spot.
Stranger Things, everybody. That was
God.
the most recent.
I love
Yeah.
him. I love him. The emblem on the side of the Briarville government vehicles reads "Ignoramus ad infinitum." It means we do not know to infinity. Do you know why Austin Nagler, the kid who played Kenny, never acted after this movie?
No.
He was teased relentlessly for the scene where Elizabeth kissed him on the cheek.
Why was he teased for that?
I guess it was his reaction to it. Like, everybody made fun of him.
That's because, like, whenever she goes in for it, he kind of was like, yeah, give me that
And then he's
kiss. And then
afterwards.
he was like, oh my God. I could see it, I guess. But I don't know why he would never act because of it.
I
That's
don't know.
kind of a dumb reason. Like, yeah, I got my first kiss. What up?
I don't know. So in the original script, the villain wasn't a troll. It was actually a haunted statue. And Disney hated that idea. They wanted like a haunted treehouse in the story. So John Cherry and Coke Sam's went back and rewrote the story, and that's what you see today.
A haunted statue.
I forgot that Ernest was a Disney property.
Well, if you think about it, man, if there was a haunted statue and not this physical like little monster looking fucker in the movie, would it have done? Would
Well, you know
it
what
still
kills
have
me
been
about
as
that?
good?
Is like Mr. Boogedy 2. That was a haunted statue. And that was a Disney thing. You guys never seen Mr. Boogedy 2?
I don't think so.
Oh, those are great movies. Anyway, I digress.
We've digressed a lot in this
We
one.
do.
A lot in this one.
Miak is not real. It's not a real
Oh,
thing.
really?
I didn't know that either.
I wondered about
my
that. I was
years.
like, is that real? Like,
All my
what
years,
is
I thought it was
Miak?
real.
Yeah.
I thought it was a real thing.
I thought
So I always wondered if Miak was real. Like, what the fuck is Miak?
I so thought it was real. But fans have made an educated guess because there is actually an Ernest verse, much like the Harry Potter verse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know how they made like butter beer and things like that?
Yeah.
So their educated guess is that it's a yogurt-like sauce commonly eaten in the spring and served on a thin pancake.
So
like a syrup.
Miak exists in the Ernest verse. I like that word, Ernest verse.
Yeah. Yeah. And then my favorite, as we've talked about, the Chiodo brothers did the special effects and all of the puppets for this film. They did the Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
It looks like they used some of it over again. But you can tell with some of the
molds, yeah, from like the mask or something.
There's one that like has a.
Yeah.
I could point out which ones look exactly
Yeah.
like there's one that looks like the little clown that does
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
Oh, you guys are gonna love this. The trolls look similar and have the same spinning death effect. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, I did notice that.
But the Chiodos did not save any of the original clown molds, nor did they use any of their designs. John Cherry actually designed all of these trolls. Trantor and all of the trolls, the designs just happen to look like the clowns.
So his name is
Trantor.
Trantor. That is a
I'm
very.
sorry, but if my last name was Trantor,
No,
I'd
this
be
is-
like I had to do something crazy.
No, his name is Trantor. That's that's the
trolls?
troll's name.
Oh, I didn't know.
And I don't understand why, because they never mention his name in the movie.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Do they?
A few times.
Oh, I never paid any attention to it. Probably because it's a dumb fucking name.
I didn't name him.
I mean, they should have gave him a cooler name. I mean, that is a dumb name for a troll. Trantor.
That's she even says it. Elizabeth says it when she's doing her.
Oh, does she?
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
when she's doing her.
You know, the one thing is, I was wondering because they didn't like really clear up what because most myths, even in the New World, when it like had a like a place of origin, like Germany or something.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know which one believed in trolls.
Well, I know one thing. I want to know why the fuck they come out of their pods fully clothed and with weapons.
I believe that. I believe trolls are a German.
It seems German to me.
I don't quote me on that, but I think
don't
so.
they originate from like rich trolls? Isn't that where they come from?
I think that think that there's different types.
Yeah.
So that it's not necessarily like that's the
Well, I'm saying
origination.
like that's where they first.
I don't think that that's the origination. I think there's just different types.
I can imagine somebody being like, it's kind of like, oh, don't cross the bridge or stay away from the bridge. The bridge troll might get you or something.
I think it's just that there's different types, and that's probably the most common
troll
that
to
people
me,
know.
Troll to me sounds more Germanic. I hate the fact that they have basically movie companies have destroyed every mythical creature. Fairies are not supposed to be good creatures.
No, I know. Yeah.
No.
I know.
No. Well, if you've seen Willow, they're kind of dicks.
This goes back to,
Aren't they supposed to be evil?
Yeah,
they
they're
are.
evil.
I was
Yeah.
making a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, fairies aren't good.
They're not good in Willow.
If
They're
you
jerks.
watch if you read any of the Harry Dresden books, they're the same way in that. They're not evil, but they're very mischievous. Yeah. They're not, you know what I mean? And in a lot of iterations, fairies are actually evil, and so are mermaid.
Yeah.
There's
mermaids
a lot.
are evil.
Well, if the original,
mermaids are supposed
all
to
of
be
the
sirens. They lead sailors to their death.
Yeah.
a lot of the original Disney,
Yeah.
Snow White.
Well, they
Little
weren't Disney
Mermaid.
properties to begin with. They
Right.
were old.
Grimm.
All of the
Grimm
Grimm,
tales,
yeah,
yeah.
the Grimm fairy tales. All of them are
Yeah.
Oh,
They're all
yeah,
very
like the
tragic.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
the original.
Like The Little
stories.
Mermaid is a very tragic story.
The original endings and stuff are just brutal.
Yeah, like the
I'd like to see
didn't
some actual,
Cinderella's sisters have her eyes picked
movies done.
My grandma had a VHS tape of some of the Grimm's fairy tales that were original iterations. And they were like live action. I don't know what happened to it, but
That'd be cool. Like if they went out and like did a whole series of these movies, or even give me like a mini series of these like actual depictions, like all an hour long.
that'd be a good one for Amazon to do. Amazon does very well with stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
There's a show on YouTube called Munstrum, and she talks about. It's called Munstrum or something, but she talks about like the old stories of.
The sad part is, I don't think that they can, because I'm pretty sure that Disney owns the rights to those
Probably
stories.
they own
those
those
story
properties, and they don't give up shit.
No, they don't. They don't come off of nothing.
Not even
man.
to do it right.
Yeah, they don't do nothing. They won't. That's Disney. They need to die.
Yeah, that's the thing.
See, that's the problem I have with like that whole genius mentality, going like back to the Kubricks and the Tarantinos and that kind of thing, is that like yeah, you're a genius, yeah, you're good at what you do, but like maybe give it up to somebody else that can do it better. Concede to the fact that maybe you didn't do this one good.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, because a lot of these Hollywood types have the look that I'm perfect, and you're not. Nobody's perfect.
Exactly.
Somebody can do it better than you, but they don't want to. They don't want to. But they don't want to.
I
be
agree.
outshot.
They can't admit it, and so they hold on to these properties.
Yeah.
And they won't
100%. I agree.
and they won't let it go, and
Yep.
they won't concede.
put it in more capable hands.
Yeah, like
I
if I can't do something right, and I know somebody who can, then if I think that there is something that is worth doing right, and I know that I can't do it, please take it from me.
Like I'm one
it.
of those people that if I did something and somebody comes to me and is like, "Hey, man, I have more money and I think I can do this better," do it.
Yeah,
I would like to be involved.
Just
like
give
I would like to see what you're doing exactly.
Let me be involved. Give me a
Yeah.
little credit, but I mean, I don't need to be the big name.
Yeah, like
I agree.
I would like. You don't even have to give me credit. I would just like to see it before it goes to screen.
Well, I mean, like if it's your original idea, your original concept, at least say created by or written by. I mean, something. Give me some credit.
Give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, let them know it came from my brain. At least that's all.
Alrighty, well, kids, is that all you had for trivia?
Yep, that's it.
All right, well, let's see here. A few things to wrap up with. So next week we will be reviewing the new Barbarian, which is going to be on HBO Max on the 25th, which is the day before we actually record our podcast. So that'll be so you're gonna watch it at home then?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it at home.
Matt, are you coming over?
I'm coming to your house to
So
watch it.
me and Matt are gonna have our own little mini wit party.
Wit party.
Wet party.
Wet party.
A wet
Whoa.
party.
Well,
I'm most likely.
and
gonna
that's
need
why
about
I'm
there
staying
back.
home, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah, me and Matt are gonna have our own little watch party here at my house, and then we will be reviewing that next week for our last movie of our Halloween month. Which honestly, I'm kind of glad we're getting through, because I love horror movies, and things like that. But I'm glad that it's coming to an end so we can get back on track with some actual like no holds barred any movie goes, you know what I mean? Because I love those. I love doing like Alita, Battle Angel, and I love doing like The Watch, and
So we're not doing Thanksgiving.
we're definitely gonna do a couple for Thanksgiving. I think. Okay. I think we should do at least one for Thanksgiving.
I've got the perfect one.
You want to do Thanksgiving? You want to do Thanksgiving? We'll do one or two for Thanksgiving, I think. But I think I don't want to confine it too much.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Because you don't want to like confine the entire holiday season with holiday movies. You know what I mean? Like that gets annoying.
Yeah. I kind of have a. I'm wondering what my next movie is picking. I think I might know my next movie.
I almost usually don't know until like a day or two before.
That's how I am. I didn't know that I was going to do Barbarian until last week. I was like, all right. Well, that's actually the quickest I ever came up with one because.
Well, what I do is I think of movies I want to watch.
Well, whenever I did The Watch originally, I wasn't even going to do The Watch. I didn't think about it until halfway through the podcast. So I was like, we were like, what are you doing next week? I was like, I don't know. We're going to do The Watch, I guess, because that's what Crystal said she wants to watch. So we're going to watch that. So I'm like, fuck it. Because I was going to do Mario Brothers from 1992.
Which would have been great.
Which I would have fucking bashed the shit out of that movie. But I like doing fun movies too. But I think Barbarian is going to be a good one because none of us have seen it.
Yeah. It's new.
It's new, and I love doing newer movies.
I love Bill Skarsgård.
Is it better have a barbarian?
I have not. I've watched one preview, and I've only watched it one time because I want to go in completely blind. Mm-hmm. I don't want to know anything about this movie, and I love going into movies like this because it leaves me surprised. What my next
movie is.
So, and I was going to do Halloween Ends, but because we haven't done the other Halloween movies, it kind of it would leave a stale taste because you're not. It's hard to do that whenever you haven't done the other movies, you know, so. And I wanted to do Hellraiser, but I was like, it's too old by this point. Like, we could have talked about it, but honestly, I think Barbarian.
We did a movie from 1969.
I'm saying it's too old in the aspect that it already just came out. And
we kind of talked about it already anyway.
Okay. Yeah, we already kind of talked about it, and I think Barbarian will be a good one because it's new and it'll be fresh. It'll be especially fresh because. By that time, whenever you go to listen to the podcast, if you haven't watched the movie already, there's no excuse for it because it's literally going to be streaming on HBO Max.
I think
but it's only it will have only been streaming for a day.
For a day, I understand, but
I think it's funny that you think since it's a new movie, it will be good.
No, I'm not saying it'll be good. It'll make for a good podcast.
I think it will be good because Bill Skarsgård's in it. That man is
and
amazing.
Justin Long.
You keep saying that. And I know that he's in it now, but I did not know before.
I didn't know either until it was mentioned in an interview.
I saw him. Yeah, I was gonna say I saw him in that last trailer, but I didn't see him the first time.
I didn't either. So but anyway. So I like going into this movie completely blind, and I think that'll make it for a good. The reason why I'm excited for it is because it'll make for a good podcast because none of us have ever seen it.
Agreed.
So we can nitpick the fuck out of it. And whether we like it or not, we don't know any reviews on it. I haven't seen any reviews on it because I haven't looked any of them up. Yeah. So I'm going, like I said, I'm going in completely blind, and I don't want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, and I'm kind of excited for it.
The only reason I watched a preview is because I know I heard of it. I didn't know what it was about. And
it was kind of
watch a preview, and I have a little idea. I think I know what it's about.
Well, that's the point. Like none of us know.
Yeah.
Really.
It was kind of like Malignant. I didn't watch that movie for a long time. I let it sit and stew on. Whatever. I
literally watched that on a whim. I had no idea what it was about.
I didn't have much. I didn't know much about it either. Whenever I watched it, and I waited for months to even watch it because it was already out on streaming for months. And I was I don't know. And like me and Chris was sitting there. I was like, "What do you want to watch?" And I was like, fuck it. We ain't watched this one yet. Like, let's go ahead and watch. She fell asleep 20 minutes in because she was just tired. But dude, that movie by the end of it, and I know a lot of people bash the shit out of it. I fucking love that movie. I thought that movie was awesome. I think
it was another one of those that fell flat because of the transfer of media.
I don't
maybe, but I thought it was awesome. I just thought it was a good movie. I thought that
the story was great.
Yeah.
But it fell flat because of the transfer to media. It doesn't transfer. I don't think it was a very good transfer to film.
You don't think so? I thought it was great. I loved it.
No.
I loved it. But anyway, so join us next weekend, or next week, not weekend. We're having a party, bitches! Sorry. Join us next week for when we discuss Barbarian. I'm not going to give you a plot synopsis or anything. You want to know that? Look it up on your own because I'm going in blind. Like I said, I don't
have to remind me that it's coming up.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So next week, Barbarian. Don't forget to share the podcast with your friends and hit us up on Twitter and all that good stuff. And I guess we'll see you next week.
I don't think we'll see anyone, but
Oh, yeah, you're right.
we'll talk to you.
No, I'm going to see you. Don't worry.
Fucking weird.
I'm fucking everywhere.
Fucking stalker.
Ooh. Sorry, it's Halloween, October. Anyway, next week, bitches. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Clicky, clicky.